All right. What is going on? We are live. We're back. Okay, we're back. I just came from the gym, so excuse the attire. I didn't have time to change. But we're going to jump on with a good friend of ours in a moment here. And so gear up and get ready for that. Shout out to everybody who's jumping in just now. What's going on? Lewis, how are you? Iceman, what's going on? Thank you very much. We're back. We're back, okay? Had a bit of an issue yesterday. It's all resolved now. No hard feelings. Things happen. You know, we're back. We're moving. We're rolling now. And we're going to continue to do what we have to do and cover this conflict that's currently ongoing and developing at a very rapid pace, I must say. Every single day there's some sort of key development. And lately it's been a lot heavier than it was maybe in the last 2 weeks. I think the accumulation in the last 3 days has been remarkable. So we'll run through some things that I think are very important, some things that I think are going to surface over these next few days. You're going to see that these developments are important. They're going to mean a lot for the future of this conflict. And yeah, we're going to cover that with a guest of ours. And so we will be having that guest on shortly. Somebody said late. Yeah, I know I'm late. I didn't get the ability to jump back on with you guys until just recently. So, you know, had a couple issues, but we're back on YouTube. We're good. Okay, everything's fine. Nothing's wrong with the channel. We're good. We love YouTube. We love YouTube. Okay? No issues over here. Is Netanyahu KIA? I don't know. I don't think so. You know, that was going viral in the Arab news a few days ago. And so people, of course, jump on some sort of narrative like that. But as to that actually being correct or having weight, I don't think so. You know, we'll see what continues to come about, excuse me, in these next few days. But I don't think there's any legitimacy to that. That went viral like 2 weeks ago, like 7 days into the conflict. All of Arab legacy media, or all of Arab news really, besides Al Jazeera, was reporting that Benjamin Netanyahu was hit with a strike. But that doesn't seem to be the case currently. So I don't think that that's true. I've been seeing those reports. Trust me, I've been keeping up very closely. I haven't been seeing anything that would lead me to believe that there's any legitimacy to that claim. So don't get your hopes up if that's what you want. But yeah, we're back. We're back. Okay. Like I said, no issues with the channel. We're going to continue uploading. Someone said blink twice if you're okay. That's funny one, Jest. So yeah, we'll get into it. We're going to have a guest join us very shortly. I just kind of want to take a moment. But what's going on, guys? What's going on? Welcome everybody. Again, like I said, I'll just say this because I know the view count is piling up. I apologize for yesterday. We had great viewership last night, and I was about to cook. I was about to go into 1948. I was going to break down all of this stuff, the Balfour Declaration. I was going to get into everything. And then out of nowhere, you know, unfortunately, the stream was cut on me. And so we had to roll it back, take a few steps back, recoup, but we're here now. I was probably going to have over 1,000 live viewers yesterday. My brother wasn't going to jump on because he had a long day. And he prepared himself to stream all day today, as he's been doing. And so I kind of took place. I was a substitute teacher. And we were kind of getting rolling. You know, the ball was rolling. I was starting to snowball. Things were heating up. And then, bam, you know, I got shot out of the sky. So, which worried me initially. And you may have seen some of the controversy on X as to like what it was for and everything. Again, I don't want to speak about it too much on this platform, but you know, no hard feelings. I'm happy to be back on. My goal is to maintain a platform so I can share it with you guys. I can continue to deliver value wherever you find it to be suitable or useful rather. And that's my job, you know, so I want to try and maintain staying afloat as much as I can here. And we're going to work to do that. I think we can do that. So yeah, I apologize again for yesterday, but it is what it is. I couldn't really do anything about it, but We've recovered. Okay, we're back. All right, I got quick revive, so we're back on. We're rolling. I was actually talking about the whole Sneako situation when I think it had happened, but yeah, we had a good conversation with Sneako, me and my brother. It was a little heated, you know, it got a little dicey, but I think Sneako, deep down, I believe Sneako knows that I have a decent point, whether he agrees or not. And I think he truly does disagree, but I think he knows, like, okay, Riyadh's kind of got a point. I can understand where he's coming from because I've got framework to my claim. You know, I'm bringing it up from an Islamic perspective. Obviously, there's the cultural and political perspective, but I think the Islamic perspective has weight. And there's scholars who agree with me. I posted a scholar on my X who studied in Medina, which is the Prophet's city in Saudi Arabia, for 20 years under somebody who used to be the Mufti of Saudi Arabia, Salih ibn Uthaymeen, who is a legendary Islamic scholar. His pupil says that praying in Times Square is inappropriate. So, you know, I posted that not to be like, I'm right, but I posted it really to kind of show like, hey, I'm talking from some sort of basis here. I'm not just speaking on whims and desires. So that was that. But, and I know I spoke about it yesterday, so chill. Don't kill me. I don't know what you guys heard. Bro, I was cooking. And when I'm cooking, I don't look at the stream. I don't look at the chat because when I'm going on my monologues, if I look at the chat, I lose my train of thought very quickly because I'll read a chat and then I won't remember where I was. And so I'm not looking at the chat. And a good friend of mine, the one who actually got me the sign here in the back, shout out to him. Both of my friends, actually, they called me and I know they wouldn't call me during a live, you know? So I was like, very weird. Hold on. We got a phone call coming in from a good friend here. Let's join. Yo,
can you hear me?
Yes, sir. What's going on, bro?
Good. Here, let me get you on. I gotta switch all my shit up now. Give me 1 sec.
Yeah. I was just talking to everybody about how I got revived. I was talking to the chat about how I found out, actually, because I was monologuing for a while and I had no idea that the stream was down. And then my friend who was FaceTiming me, I know if I get a call from him while I'm live, something's wrong. So that's how I knew.
Okay, let me
your camera's okay. There you are.
Yeah. No, I'm on now. Let me go ahead and because I'm right now in the middle of explaining.
I saw you were talking about the IRGC, and I think you were referring to the JCPOA. I didn't have context.
I'm giving these niggas. I'm giving them a full crash course on why the riders was a lie. Like the riders was all astroturfed.
Well, go ahead and fill my fan base in here. I got a bunch of people in here already, so fill in the gang.
So guys, all you guys need to know is that we're talking right now about the obviously how the riots in Iran in early January were astroturfed, manufactured by American and Israeli intelligence. I went over the history with the 1979 revolution, Mossad from Operation Ajax. I covered literally Operation Ajax to the Iranian Revolution, to the sanctions, to the JCPOA, to Obama putting it in place and Trump pulling out, to Israel manufacturing the whole nuclear bomb lie to justify U.S. involvement, support them. The real reason why they wanted to cut the JCPOA was because the Iranians getting money would fund the proxies in their ballistic missile program, which is what Israel is really terrified about. But since they know that the proxies in the ballistic missile program can't really affect the United States, they had to manufacture the nuclear bomb lie, right? When in reality, the JCPOA was literally created to stop the nuclear bomb issue. So, like, they astroturfed it. And then I talked about how Mike Pompeo came in. He went ahead and obviously, once Trump pulled out the nuclear deal, he put the IRGC on the foreign terrorist organization list. They were able to heavily sanction them. And that obviously, created the issues again that we have. So I was going through all that history. So like right now, what I'm doing is I'm going through hold on 1 sec. I'm actually, right now I'm going through the, Propaganda and Co's video with how they astroturfed everything, which me and you reacted to this video already.
Yes.
But I'll rewind it a little bit here, just so your audience can kind of get into play. But what your audience missed so far was how Scott Bessent purposely crashed the Riel in January. And then how that led to riots, and then how Mossad operatives already started showing up at the riots trying to antagonize and make things worse. So I'll keep playing it.
Protesters, after he tried urging them to riot, they questioned him about the business he supposedly owned to see if he was a legitimate
I'll go at 1 speed because obviously this is important.
protester when he
But that's where we are.
couldn't answer basic questions.
Because I polled my audience and I said, yo, do you guys want me to explain why these riots are fake? Because, oh, this is how this all started. This loser named the Enforcer. Nigga has like, let me see if he's still on right now.
They talk.
This fucking YouTuber right here, bro. This guy is the fucking worst. And actually, I just found out that they're a group of they're brothers. And they're fucking retarded. Yeah, they just streamed 19 minutes ago. Yo, these dudes had 19K watching them. And they said that the reason why the Iranians stopped protesting is because they got tired of getting killed by the IRGC and that and the police, and that the US wasn't coming to help them. And I said, bro, are you fucking retarded? The reason why they stopped protesting is because those were all, like, a majority of the agitators were Mossad assets. Like what are you talking about, bro?
Yeah.
So that's what like made me go on a fucking like rant. And I said, you know what? Do you guys want me to explain to you why they're fucking Mossad operatives? And that the chat like overwhelmingly voted like 90% like yeah. So then I went ahead and covered it. But yeah, these guys are morons, bro. Like these dudes right here, Riyadh, are the dudes that I hate the most. Like these are the dudes that basically are like, oh, America's winning. America, yeah, we're destroying them, we're pummeling them, whatever. And that's fine. Like we are winning militarily. Like no one's denying that. But we're losing strategically. And these idiots forget to tell everybody are the dudes that, bro, is this winning right here? Is this fucking winning, retard? Like literally a barrel of oil is $103 right now, you stupid nigga. And then a barrel of oil in the US, WTI crude is $99.30. And keep in mind, this is after they're released. Like what? 400 a million barrels of oil? Like what? Are you serious? And it's still this high. So what the fuck are these idiots talking about? These dudes are retarded.
Yeah, and funny enough, and we'll get into this in a moment, it's fine because this is more of a current event than the actual context as to what led here. But the chairman of the FCC, I believe his name is Brandon Carr, if I remember correctly. I don't know if you went through it, but Donald Trump is kind of sending some of his associates here to censor mainstream media outlets in regards to their coverage on Iran, because we're 14 days in and we're starting to see a shift in the news, even from outlets like Fox, and where they're kind of reporting honestly that this conflict may drag on a lot longer than Trump had anticipated, which is giving the indirect implication that Trump was not prepared when he started this conflict. And so what we're noticing now is media outlets in regard, Trump is heading out the FCC.
I'm dropping this in your chat for you, by the way.
What's that?
I'm dropping this. This is the OSS report. This is it shows everything going on with the war. You can fact check, 24-hour report, statements. It's literally, yeah, one of the guys in my community made this. It's fucking amazing, dude. It's really good.
Yeah, drop that. I'll pin it. Or you should be able to pin it. You could pin it yourself. I'll pin it. Hold on. Okay.
Oh no, it won't let me do it. I'm not cool enough.
I pinned it.
But yeah, so if you guys want, this website right here shows you everything, bro. It shows casualties, deaths, damage, costs, munitions, everything. So it shows the price of oil. If you click energy, right, it has all the S&P 500. Look, we're down on the S&P 500. Bitcoin is up a little bit. Ethereum is up a little bit. But in general, it shows everything so that you guys can kind of look at what's going on with the conflict. Deaths, casualties, right? It shows Iran, Israel, United States. It's very thorough, man. It's amazing. But sorry, keep going, bro. I got you.
No. Yeah, no worries. That's great. Thanks for that. So Trump had obviously commanded the chairman of the FCC, Brandon Carr, I believe his name is, which is a Federal Communications Commission. And this guy is pretty much in charge, or really he has the role of being the custodian or the referee over mainstream media news and regulating what they report, how they report it, and their licenses. And he threatened earlier today, there was a couple reports from, I think, Axios, CNN, Fox News, that he's now threatening to revoke the license of many mainstream media news outlets because of their coverage on Iran and the fake news that they're reporting. So not only are these idiots on YouTube, like you're referring to, whether it's the Enforcer or others, kind of doing this whole damage control from Trump, which is a losing battle. They're fighting uphill. People are incrementally but surely, giving up on believing them and following their coverage.
Guys, open a tab and like my brother's video, by the way, please. Let's get him to 100. Open up a tab. Just watch. You can watch me on Kickstill, but just open up another tab and watch him and click like on it for me, please.
Thank you, guys. Come over and show some love. I appreciate it. But now you've got Donald Trump kind of scrambling to make himself look better in the media in terms of this mistake that he started, which everybody knows he's opened up a can of worms now. So it's all just like this culmination of mistakes and mistakes and mistakes. And as I've said yesterday, I said this yesterday before I got shot out of the sky, that me and you are being vindicated real time, day in, day out. It's like every single day a report comes out. It's like, oh, said that. Oh, I said that too. Oh, I said that too. We have 2,500 to 3,000 troops, Marines being sent over to the Middle East. And there haven't been any confirmed reports that they'll be on the ground, but Pete Hegseth and other
Well, that group
military
isn't even
officials-
an invasion group, bro. So I looked into that MEU group or whatever. They're just there
Yeah.
to like, they're like a search and rescue slash secure type squad, man. They're not enough to actually like do a ground invasion.
Yeah, but when the military officials were asked, I thought this was interesting. They didn't deny whether they would be on the ground or not for direct combat activities. And so whether we're there yet or we're going to get there in a moment, it's just like all the wind is starting to blow in the direction of everything that we said was going to happen. And that's because, you know, we have a brain and we're not emotionally charged up and saying that the United States is this amazing country that can't lose. So now you've got Trump scrambling to censor mainstream media news because they're starting to report the honest truth that this war may drag on a lot longer than he anticipated. It's kind of a losing battle for us. But
a guy in my chat already claimed that like people are getting orders to show up and everything, dude. It's happening.
Yeah.
So,
and that's what these news outlets are reporting, and that's exactly what Trump and Pete Hegseth and others in the administration don't want to be, you know, reported across mass media. But go ahead, you're gonna play this. Let's see this.
Yeah. So this is perfect timing that you came in. So this is like right when the protests start and they crash the real.
Tossed him out of the protests.
So Iranians noticed that some of these guys were like really trying to agitate. Like, wait, hold on, what store do you own? Like, why are you trying to do all this? And the guy couldn't answer any of the questions. So obviously that's a little weird.
And in this video, student
quickly,
protests were hijacked.
Hey, do I sound louder to you?
No, you sound fine to me.
I sound good. Okay, to my chat, I just fixed it. They're complaining about my audio. What's new? All right, go ahead.
By 3 anti-government provocateurs who tried leading chants against the government. Students responded, however, by drowning them out with their own pro-government chants and waved the nation's flag instead. There are many videos like this from the early days of the protests showing that most demonstrators were uninterested in regime change and were only focused on inflation and consumer prices. But that didn't stop Western media and politicians from weaponizing the narrative. Right-wing platform and influencer accounts like Visegrad began posting AI slop and outright fabrications to paint the picture of a massive uprising against the government. In this video, they used footage of normal everyday activity in Iran and dubbed fake audio over it to make it appear as if it were an anti-government protest. And here, the Israeli government digitally altered a video of police supposedly blasting a protester with a water cannon. In reality, however, the police lowered the water cannon and never touched the protester. And in this side-by-side, you can see a protest with fake dubbed audio of chants against the government calling for the return of the Shah. In the real video, however, there were no such chants. The entire Zionist propaganda network.
See, this is crazy, bro. And then Time Robinson Persons, we are thinking if you free them from the slavery. And like, yeah, they're just the Hasbara campaign started, you know?
Began amplifying lies, advocating for regime change in Iran. But that wasn't the end of it. These agent provocateurs abandoned the shopkeeper protests during the day and began their own series of riots at night. They assaulted police officers, burned them alive, and beat them to death. They set fire to mosques, hospitals, markets, banks, and police stations. This is when the Iranian government began its crackdown. Several rioters were arrested and interrogated. It became clear that they had been instigated and directed by Mossad-linked operations. In this clip, you can see a Mossad agent giving explicit instructions to rioters on how to make Molotov cocktails, what to target, and how to handle police if arrested. Other interrogations revealed that Mossad agents used Instagram to contact young, poor, naive Iranians and offered them money to carry out attacks.
And this is why I explained to you guys what the Mossad was before we even started up the stream, because I needed you guys to understand like their capabilities and why they're so good at what they do. So they were embedded within these rioters and started up a whole like other thing. Shout out to Castle Club Clan with the 45 gifted. Thank you, bro. Appreciate you so much.
Yeah, really quick, by the way, shout out to OSS Mall and Desert Joe. Shout out to you guys for joining the community. God bless. Appreciate it down the Marco for you guys. Don't worry, I saw that, so thank you so much. And also what I was going to say is, well, actually, I'll save it for after the video because it's really good. Keep going.
On the government and society at large. In another interrogation, a captured rioter said he was instructed by Mossad, quote, "If you can form a 6-person team, that would be very good, and you can command them yourself." He said their goal was to engage in project killing, so people would be affected and say, "They killed so-and-so, they killed a youth," and then pour into the streets for more protests. Once the crackdown began, Western politicians escalated the rhetoric and poured fuel onto the fire. Mike Pompeo tweeted, "The Iranian regime is in trouble."
And just so you guys know, like, he's not capping because, like, look, I have the tweet right here, as a matter of fact. Literally right here. The Iranian regime is in trouble. Bringing in mercenaries is its last best hope. Riots in the dozens of cities in a besieged under siege Mossad, Tehran, Zemeden, blah, 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 all this other shit. 47 years of this regime, POTUS, 47 coincidence. Happy New Year to every Iranian in the streets, also to every Mossad agent walking beside them. Bro, what the fuck?
Yeah, I mean, does it get any more obvious?
Like, bro, they don't, like, come on, man. How more blatant does it have to be, guys? It is a real tweet. I showed you guys. Matter of fact, let me give you guys the link so you guys can look at it in the chat yourselves. Like, bro, that's how arrogant they got. Like, they literally put it on fucking Twitter, dude. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? This is Mike Pompeo, the guy that was responsible for destroying the Iran nuclear deal alongside Donald Trump, who's a big Zionist. The one that put the IRGC on the terrorist watch list, as you guys can see here. Okay? Right here. Okay? We talked about all this. So, yeah, anyway, let me pull my brother back on here.
Bringing in mercenaries is its last best hope. Riots in dozens of cities, Mashhad, Tehran, Zahedan, next stop, Baluchistan. 47 years of this regime. POTUS 47. Coincidence? Happy New Year to every Iranian in the streets. Also to every Mossad agent.
It's a real tweet, chat.
Them. At the end, he tagged the CIA director, Marco Rubio.
Not even try to hide it. And then he tagged Rubio, Secretary Director, the CIA director, obviously Marco Rubio, and Donald Trump.
And President Trump. All of this confirms the following. While the Iranian government hasn't fully addressed inflation in an effective way, it is ultimately the external pressure of Western sanctions that has produced this economic crisis in Iran. The Iranian people were not protesting to...
So they already had the crippling sanctions, and on top of that, they went ahead and crashed their currency on purpose, as admitted by Bessent. Then you got the former secretary of the CIA saying, yeah, every Mossad agent walks amongst you. Come on, dude.
Overthrow the regime, but to demand action on inflation and the rising cost of living. The Islamic Republic is not an unhinged theocracy massacring protesters at will just to cling to power. It is a nation resisting repeated regime change attempts aimed at destroying both its government and its economy. The riots were instigated by the Mossad, as confirmed by Mike Pompeo, who foolishly let the cat out of the bag, and further supported by the confessions of rioters who were arrested and interrogated. All of this is yet another attempt to manufacture a pretext for war against Iran, with the ultimate goal of opening its economy to Western corporations and installing a Zionist.
And that's always been the goal, by the way, guys. That's exactly why the Shah got in. They got Mossad out of there because Mossad nationalized the oil. When you nationalize the oil, private entities can't come in and profit off of the country's resources. The Brits couldn't have that.
Aligned puppet regime to secure,
because the Brits used to control the petroleum in Iran back then. They had like a British petroleum company that oversaw obviously the oil industry there, and they said no, we can't have this. So that's why they had to get Mossad out of there.
Israeli hegemony in the region. Now, if all of this isn't enough for you to believe that the Mossad were behind this, just listen to Israeli media admit it.
Okay, so let me go ahead, because you guys are probably, a lot of you guys are listening, you might not be listening to the subtitles, so, or see the subtitles. Let me go ahead.
Israeli media admit it.
So here's Israeli news. He goes, I don't see the behavior of the protesters now, or sorry, I also see the behavior of the protesters now. On one hand, I see a lot of boldness. I also see they are very compartmentalized. The material also comes out nicely, which means they are receiving training. They receive training. Like, bruh. There's probably some training here. There's no way this is purely natural on its own. And that's okay, and that's not wrong. So, bro, he's admitting there's no way that this is a natural protest. These guys are trained. It's really good. Damn, this is a good coup right here. And therefore, there is some guiding hand here, bro. I mean, do we need more proof? This is Israeli TV, by the way, from themselves. So it says here, Israeli journalist Zevi Yehezikli, whatever, boasts about role of foreign intelligence in Iranian riots on I-24 News. Mossad's official Farsi account also admitted that their operatives are present on the ground stirring up riot. Like, come on, bro. So they're even admitting there's a guiding hand here. Don't forget that Iran is a nation of tribes and ethnic groups. From foreigners to Baluchis to Ahwazis to Arabs and non-Arabs. This is actually true. And the Baluchis have a problem with the Iranians. They've always had a problem with them. So there's a very, very strong line here of intelligence type work. And just so you guys know, this isn't the first time that Israeli intelligence has tried to start a war in Iran. They did this back in the Bush era, and I'll show you guys with a group called Jundallah.
I have a good video on all of the attempts of Israeli interference into several countries in the Middle East to try and launch revolution. So I'm going to show that after.
Perfect. We about to really cook, bro. See, this is what I tell you guys, man. These guys are idiots. Enforcers said, oh yeah, the Iranians don't want to protest because they don't want to get shot at. No, it's because a lot of those protesters were Israeli Mossad operatives and they got arrested, dude.
Yeah. And the reason, I don't know if you supplied this context, I'll just say very briefly, the reason why the IRGC cracked down so hard on it is because if they let these guys successfully infiltrate, it's obvious what will happen, right? They'll be able to successfully launch some sort of tension with the civilians against the government. By the way, the civilian population of Iran is not the biggest fan or wasn't the biggest fan of the government because of the fact that they were struggling economically in the record high inflation, and that's because of the sanctions we imposed on them. So it was kind of like a culmination of everything. But the IRGC, and this is what I said previously as to how Iran is a step ahead of the United States in every single way, as well as Israel, is they deployed these intelligence assets, or rather they deployed these military assets to nip it in the bud before it got too bad. And it's probably because they've dealt with it before several times. So it was just them responding very well. And of course, Mike Pompeo, Donald Trump, Pete Hegseth, and these other guys weaponized that against the IRGC and said, well, look how they're abusing protesters, and look how they're not abusing protesters. They're killing your assets that are going to overthrow their government. Like, what are you talking about? So it's just important to kind of understand that contextually. It's not just like, oh, Iran sees this foreign entity and so they attack it. Yeah, of course, but it's deeper than that. There's a greater goal of regime change. They have to.
And we're not saying that innocent people weren't killed, guys. But you must understand that the worst part of the riots were conducted by foreign operatives. Yo, DBG, thank you so much for the 45 gifted, bro. All you guys in here, and I think DBG gave you a big donation too, bro. Double check.
Yeah, I'm gonna check it right now.
But yeah, shout out to DPG. Yeah, guys. All you guys that are brokies, you put the fry in the bag, guys. Say thank you to DPG because now you guys got badges. But yeah, so here, like this guy admits, yo, these guys have training, these guys have operatives, etc. And he says, what? Ultimately, the Iranian people have to do it. So there's very, very strong line here of intelligence type work. Like, come on, dude, they're admitting it on their TV. And then here we go, another one. Israeli media admit Mossad's army protested in Iran with live weapons. We've been saying this since day one. Share this everywhere. Let the world wake up. So we got here Tamir Morag, right? He says, we reported tonight on Channel 14, foreign actors are arming the protesters in Iran with live firearms, which is the reason for the hundreds of regime personnel killed. Everyone is free to guess who was behind it. Of course, bro. Of course.
Now, in response to this regime change operation, Iran completely severed internet access. They did this for several reasons. Firstly, they wanted to cut off communication between the Mossad and their operatives on the ground. The moment the internet was shut down, the riots began to die down. Further,
they died down significantly.
They're indicating that the Mossad was orchestrating much of this unrest behind the scenes. Secondly, they needed to prevent ordinary Iranians from developing the perception that the government was on the verge of collapse. There was a consistent theme echoed in Mike Pompeo's tweet and repeated by nearly every propagandist engaged in this information war against Iran. Quote, the Iranian regime is in trouble. For security forces to maintain order and for society at large to resist external regime change operations, people must believe the attack against them will fail. Sometimes all it takes for a government to collapse is for the population to stop believing in its ability to govern and maintain order. It doesn't matter whether that perception is
and this worked very well for us in South America. This is exactly what we did in South America. Made it look like the leaders have no control of their country and we took over.
Objectively true. What matters is belief. By digitally altering images, dubbing audio, and spreading false claims about Holocaust.
Okay, this dude said this Kurd get out of here. Okay, bro, you could get the fuck out. My chat. Okay, enjoy. Shout out for you, my friend.
Shout out to DPG. I just see these chats now. I appreciate you, bro. $100 and $100. I'm going to read your chats in a moment. But thank you so much, Don DeMarco, for you, man. Always appreciate the consistent support, man. God bless you. Thank you so much. Go ahead.
Yeah, dude's name is Mace Cooking, bro. Enjoy the Shadowrun, bro. Anyway, we'll keep going.
And imminent collapse, Western forces were trying to convince Iranians that resisting was pointless and that surrender was inevitable. Iran cut the internet to prevent that false perception from spreading across the country. Geopolitical analyst Brian Berletic recently produced a video arguing that protecting your information space is just as important as defending your airspace or your economy. Quote, Iran, a nation with significant conventional military power, has been undermined and weakened because of its delay in securing its information space.
Yeah, they should have shut the internet down way sooner.
Political space sufficiently from foreign interference. And while it has acted decisively in recent weeks and appears to have prepared at least months in advance, only time will tell if it is just in time or still too late. It seems Iran now understands the importance of this because it no longer hesitates to cut the internet during times of conflict. But Iran went beyond simply shutting down the internet. It appears that both Iran and the Mossad had anticipated the blackout. The Mossad responded by flooding thousands of Starlink receivers into Iran so agents could still access the internet through Elon Musk's satellite system. Iran appears to have anticipated this move and jammed.
And just so you guys know, Elon Musk got really mad at the Iranian government after this, and he like took all their government badges away because niggas like showed that his Starlink is garbage. Niggas showed that his shit was garbage, bro.
The Starlink connection. Now it's unclear exactly how they did it, but there is speculation that China may have assisted.
Yeah, the Chinese and the Russians absolutely helped. The Russians actually, a lot of people don't know this. Guys, the Russians have fantastic jamming software. They're really good at jamming. Them and the Chinese, obviously.
JFeed article wrote, quote, breaking the myth of unblockable satellite internet, Tehran utilizes synchronized ground jammers to blind 40,000 terminals, effectively turning the country into a laboratory for Beijing's future war over Taiwan. With virtually all connection to the outside world severed, Iran was able to cut off communication between the Mossad and its agents and bring the regime change operation to an end. Once it became clear that this plan had failed, Trump tweeted that he had decided not to attack Iran because they had decided not to.
Yeah, like, you know, just obviously Trump takes the L and he's able to, like, you know, market it in a certain way. Also, just so you guys know, I have proof here that it was a government operation to smuggle these Starlinks in. This comes from Max Blumenthal. It was admitted at the Oversight Committee. Oh, hold on.
Committee in U.S. Congress today that an organization called the National Endowment for Democracy, which is funded by the U.S. government, which exists to promote regime change around the world by sponsoring the so-called civil society groups, media, activists, training, journalists, funding political parties, has now identified Iran as its top target. And its president today was asked about an apparently secret State Department program by the ranking Democratic chair of this House Oversight Committee to smuggle Starlink into Iran. And he declared that the National Endowment for Democracy had already deployed 200 Starlink terminals into Iran.
We've been investing in communication tools over years that allow for information to be sent into Iran even when internet connectivity is blocked. We specifically began supporting the deployment, the operation of about 200 Starlinks early on.
All right, you know what? I'm going to interrupt you. We better not talk about it. Okay, so.
I wonder why not talk about it.
National Endowment for
I wonder why.
The president's name is
Bro, and that was literally on an oversight board under oath.
Damon Wilson. We've reported.
And she told him to shut up because she knew it was going to be classified.
For years on the endowment and their subversive activities around the globe. And now we know how deeply they were involved in these riots. Wilson also took credit for the death tolls and said they're working with their partners who have networks inside Iran to basically increase the official death toll to anywhere between 17,000 and 30,000. This is while Western mainstream media resorts to monarchist sources close to Reza Pahlavi to jack up the death toll to 36,000.
Yeah, bro. If you actually think 30,000 people died, you're low IQ. Now, obviously, I don't believe the Iranian government at the 3,000 number either. It's probably somewhere in the middle. But, bro, I would be shocked if it was even 10,000.
Yeah.
Without any verification. So now we can see kind of...
Because people don't understand, bro. 10,000 is a lot of people, bro. That's a lot of people.
And you know what? This is why with these other channels that do coverage in regards to the fact that all of these protests were genuine and that the civilian population is actually dissatisfied with the government to the degree where they protested that hard and were met with lethal force. That's why I don't think they're honest. That's why I don't know whether they're paid by the Trump administration. You know, that can be a conspiracy or whatever. But you have several things existing at the same time. You have the fact that Israel is notorious for regime change via infiltrating with intelligence assets and charging up the population. The United States is very good at that as well. Something we've done very well in the Caribbean, Latin America, and so on, and historically. you look at the history,
Ukraine.
you can see that. Ukraine. But as well as the fact that, I mean, Mike Pompeo, who was the former director of the CIA, Trump's right-hand man, tweets out. And by the way, I thought that he was going to delete this tweet. The tweet still exists. And Marco Rubio and Donald Trump are tagged in that tweet. And so it's like they don't even care to hide it. And he says every Mossad agent is walking alongside. And so I just think, like, with these other channels that are reporting on the Iran war and saying that this is for the betterment of the Persian population and this is for freedom in the Middle East because they want to take over, it's like, you know, I don't even know if I give those guys any breath because you're being critically dishonest despite the fact that the facts are in your face. We're not even conspiracizing or speculating. These are hard, cold facts that we're using to point in the direction of, you know, intentional regime change. And then you've got Trump in the media contradicting himself. And look, the guy's 80, so he's kind of losing it. I saw a clip of him today saying some really vague things. But, you know, he says at the roundtable that we attacked Iran because we knew that they would attack Israel. But then in another statement, he had to combat what people were using against him in regards to Marco Rubio's statement and say, no, it was preemptive because we knew that Iran was going to attack Israel. We knew that Israel was going to attack Iran. So it's like, which one is it? And why are you all contradicting one another? So you have that. You have the CIA involvement as well as the Mossad involvement admitted by the former CIA director, as well as the fact that we spiked up the number. We jacked up the number. We have that video you just showed. And there's still people who want to say that this war started from a genuine place of fear out of Iran taking over the Middle East. So, you know, it's just like, I don't even pay attention to the Trump shills at this point. I've been going hard on Twitter at them because I don't know how, you know, it's one thing if you don't like Iran and the IRGC, but if you can't be honest and at least admit to the fact that this war was manufactured by the United States and we tried very hard to sell it to the public, then you're a fool. So it's just so frustrating. It's so redundant. It's like, that's why I'm starting to believe that these people are paid or they've got some sort of
and that's why I gotta like call niggas out like this, bro.
Yeah,
that's why like I call this guy out because like, bro, honestly, I think he's botting too. Because like
it's 100%. I don't know if that's all genuine. And this is something you say. This is the hubris that gets U.S. military personnel killed. This is what involves the populist actually motivating this war or being in favor of it, which will eventually lead to boots on the ground or some sort of nuclear involvement by the United States or a nuclear attack like a tactical nuke that we spoke about previously on stream. And these are all options that, despite whichever one we choose, will result in mass civilian casualty as well as military casualty. And so no one wins in this war whatsoever. And we've explained that as well. We'll go into that as the show goes on. I don't mean to interrupt too much, but it's just top to bottom. I mean, I couldn't even write a better book or a script to make it obvious as to how the United States and Israel has intervened to manufacture this war and make it justified among their population. So it is what it is. But, you know, we work hard every day to make sure that we send the truth out. And hopefully out of the thousands of people who watch us, you know, there's a couple hundred who are genuinely shaken and you know, they're red pilled. But it's crazy. I'm scrolling down Twitter and I see people saying that this war is beneficial, and I'm not going to drop any names, but it is really, really just saddening. It's demoralizing in a way.
All right, I'll finish watching this, then
protesters. I greatly respect the fact that all scheduled hangings, which were to take place yesterday, over 800 of them, have been canceled by the leadership of Iran. Thank you, Trump wrote on his Truth Social network. Now, he tweeted this because he knew that the operation had failed, so it wasn't a good idea to get further involved because Trump is looking for an easy win, not a PR disaster. Now, just because this regime change operation failed, it doesn't mean that it's over yet. Trump ordered the aircraft carrier USS Abraham Lincoln.
I think that's enough. But now you guys know, like, the whole why this thing was astroturfed and the riots from January were BS. I think we showed overwhelming proof, and this is why people like this idiot, right, the enforcer, it kills me because I'll see like 10, 20,000 people watching these guys, and I'm like, these guys are idiots. Like, they'll just sit there and talk about how, like, the United States is dominating militarily. And I'm like, bro, dominating militarily does not matter. We're strategically losing, okay?
Yeah.
Why are we strategically losing? Because look at the price of gas, dummy, okay? Yeah. This is an L. This is not a W whatsoever. This is not winning, bro. This is not winning.
As well as the fact that the price is accumulating and it's growing exponentially because we're running low on interceptor missiles, and that's been reported in several mainstream media news outlets as well. Although it's unconfirmed by the Times of Israel, it's becoming evident at this point in regards to how Trump is trying to scramble for some sort of good PR look. So that's another fact as well.
You said that you wanted to show something with the Israelis trying to...
Yeah, I can show this quick video. It's a compilation of Benjamin Netanyahu kind of telling on himself. And I think it's Really interesting. So
If you
go
take
ahead.
away
I'll
the-
play
Let's
this
do
for
it.
you guys. Let me share the screen.
Here, I'll get mine off.
Okay. Should be able to see that.
The Soviet Union
Yep.
and its chief proxy, the PLO.
What's that floating? Okay, there we go.
If you take
Good?
Yep, now we're good.
All right.
away the Soviet Union and its chief proxy, the PLO, international terrorism would collapse.
Obviously, we like to see a regime change, at least I would, in Iran, just as I would like to see in Iraq.
Czechoslovakia and East Germany and Cuba are obviously very important additional proxies.
A third nation, by the way, is Libya as well. Libya is, while no one is watching, under the cloak, is trying very rapidly to build an atomic bomb.
Supporting terrorism not only to every
Come on, bro. He says the same thing over and over and over again. Every single time. He doesn't even switch up the narrative. He doesn't say like chemical weapons. I think somebody else actually in the United States government tried to utilize that as well, like Lindsey Graham or somebody else. I can't remember. But for him, it's just always,
No.
they've got a bomb. They've got mass terrorism. It's like the same script over and over again from the 90s up until present day. And he's used it for all the several countries that are listed right now with their flags. So I'll keep playing, but it's like the same tried and true script. And still people
Comedy.
are buying it. You're so stupid. How are you still buying it? Like, how can you still keep falling for this? You're an idiot.
An atomic
Right here.
bomb.
supporting terrorism not only to every part of the Middle East, but to Venezuela. They're in cahoots with the Maduro regime.
Are there any other nations that you would recommend that the United States launch preemptive
Oh, this
attacks
legendary
upon?
quote.
The answer is categorically yes.
If you take away
Oh, they cut it, but crazy. It's crazy. So
Yeah, everyone
I wanna-
saw that WMD comment already, so
Yeah.
they knew what time it was.
Yeah. Weapons of mass destruction.
Here, let
The
me
clean
show.
break strategy in 96. I mean, all of it. It's just like every single time it's the same thing with like a little bit of a different approach, but the basis and the foundation is always the same. They're planning a coup d'etat. They're planning to destroy our country. They've got a bomb. They've got chemical weapons. They've got military capabilities that we've never seen before. It's always the same excuse, and you just keep falling for it and falling for it. Although I think out of all the times that the United States or Israel has attempted regime change, in this instance, I think people are most woke in opposed to other instances. And I'm going to go over that FCC thing. I don't know if you saw that, but the Federal Communications Commission and the chairman, Brendan Carr, are threatening to crack down on mainstream media news outlets that are reporting that this war is not going in the United States' favor. So it seems like they're kind of picking up on the fact that the people aren't buying it anymore, and they're trying to overturn that or switch the direction, but it's to no avail, man. It's not going to work. You can't try the same thing and the same method for 20 or 30 years and expect people to still fall for it. It's sad that it took us this many years, but I think we've gone to a point now where a good deal of the population is aware, at least those under 40.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's absolutely nuts, bro. Like, this is Iraq 2.0, and it bothers me that like people are not smart enough to like see that it's literally happening again, bro.
Yeah, and I tweeted
It's
about
literally
that.
happening again.
I tweeted about that on day one of the conflict. You know, I said the parallels between this and Iraq are uncanny. I said the parallel we are seeing to the Iraq war is remarkable. You got Mark Levin claiming the IRGC has chemical weapons, Stephen Witkoff claiming they are 1 week away from a bomb, and Trump promising to free the Iranian people. Any American who is falling for this should just migrate. When will our country be prioritized? I tweeted that, and this was on February 28th, and everything we're seeing to present day now and what has developed is very parallel to Iraq.
Brad, I'm
Same
dropping
kind
a
of
video in your
excuses.
chat. I'm dropping a video in your chat. I want you to play it from, because I'm going to run real quick and get some food from downstairs. It's been sitting there forever, and I'm starving. I've been on now for, what, 7.5 hours? Holy. Okay, I'm going to drop this in your chat right now real quick. And I want you to play it for your audience. And I'm going to be back by the time, because I want your guys' reaction. I don't think you guys have seen this before. Hold on one sec. Hold on. This is the video, but let me go ahead and get you here. Yeah, these guys, the enforcer or whatever, these guys are morons, dude. They're true morons. Okay, so I want you to fast forward to 227. Okay, the link I'm going to give you right now.
Yeah, go ahead, send it over.
227. I'm dropping it in your chat right now. Or do you want? You know what? Let me give it to you on Telegram. I'm going to give it to you on Telegram. This one's a good one, bro, because this is another example of how the Israelis almost got us into a war. Again. Bro, every single time, bro. Okay. I just War by Deception is the name of the video. Shout out to my guy Propaganda Co. Let me go ahead and you got it?
Yep, I got it. I'm ready to play it. Go ahead, get your food.
Yeah, open it. Yeah. Open it up on your side so that I can make sure that it's big on my side or enlarge it, and then that way, bam. So you can control and you can give commentary. Yeah, right. Fast forward to 227 or 220. Actually, 220. Just go to 220.
All right, perfect.
Really important shit that I want everybody to see here. Shit's crazy, bro. And then just enlarge it on your end. Hit the full screen on the bottom.
It's full.
No, on your part, on your side. You got to enlarge it on the screen.
There's a delay on stream. You got to give it like 7 seconds.
All right, cool. I'll be right back then.
All right, perfect.
Now let's get back.
Yeah, this guy's hungry. This guy's been streaming for like 10 years.
Back to the subject.
Gotta let Myron eat.
At hand. In the final days of the Bush administration, a highly sensitive intelligence report began its ascent through the U.S. intelligence chain of command. The report passed through the CIA Directorate of Operations, the National Clandestine Service, and the CIA Counterintelligence Center, before finally reaching CIA Director Michael Hayden. Recognizing its significance, the Director of National Intelligence was briefed on the findings and assessed the implications for U.S. national security. This report finally made its way to the White House, where President Bush was briefed on its contents. According to sources, Bush went absolutely ballistic after the briefing. In short, the CIA memos detailed how Israeli Mossad agents posed as American spies to recruit members of the terrorist organization Jundallah to fight their covert war against Iran. The Mossad agents carried U.S. passports, presented themselves as American operatives, and provided cash, weapons, and intelligence to a foreign designated terror group known as Jundallah.
I mean, bro, I know Myron stream can't hear. I just hit the fa sound on the soundboard, but I mean, hey, I'll just let it play.
To carry out attacks against Iran. Now, for a supposed...
They've been obsessed with removing Iran from power for years. It was just a matter of finding the right leader who would actually bring it to fruition for them. And I actually said on stream the other day, just to note really quickly, I'll let the video play through. I said on stream the other day, and I uploaded a short on my YouTube, as to why Trump is a bigger traitor than Bush. Because, you know, in Bush's attack in Iraq in 2003, after 9/11 and everything, when he wanted to topple Saddam Hussein, there was still some sort of domestic motivation in the United States for war in the Middle East, right? The war on terror. These guys have perpetuated certain parts of the United States. You know, they're going to flight school. They're learning how to fly a plane and crash it into the tower. You know, whether you want to say there was other countries' involvement or whatever. The fact, and I'm still on YouTube, so I have to be a little bit more covert with my language, but the fact still stands that there was some sort of like local motivation for that attack. Whereas now, in 2026, to go to war in Iran is like just stepping that far out of the way. It's like, you know, just completely turning in the other direction and serving the interests of somebody else entirely without serving any of yours. You know, you can make the argument that in 2003, maybe the U.S. had some sort of vested interest in actually being militarily involved in the Middle East to that degree, of course, for the exploitation of oil, gold, which was prevalent in Iraq at the time, and we did see some gold. And so there's at least that, right, that you can make from a pro-American argument, because it's not about being non-intervention. It's about being beneficial for the United States. It's about whether this serves United States interest, you know, regardless of the morale or the moral aspect of it. But, you know, in this situation, and this kind of goes to show what Propaganda and Co. is going over here is, you know, Bush and other U.S. presidents like Barack Obama did offer a little bit of pushback as to Israeli involvement, them framing themselves in certain positions to gain an advantage and start a war. So it just seems like there's been no resistance from Trump, and he's just letting them do all of their bidding through his administration. He effectively may as well not even be the president. Benjamin Netanyahu might as well be the president of the United States, and the way things are going. So that's why Trump is so much more of a traitor. I think he's going to go down as one of the biggest traitors in the United States or United States presidential history, because he completely caved and folded in. He did not even offer any resistance. And he kind of seemed like he was with the whole Gaza situation and prior in his term in 2016. But this time around, it's just complete submission. So it's crazy. Something that you don't see with former U.S. leaders even, Richard Nixon and others, obviously they offered Israel support, but it came from blackmail of them using a nuke during the Arab-Israeli War or the Yom Kippur War in 73. It took something for us to actually get involved in the Middle East. It took something. It was like, okay, look, we'll help you, but like we can't keep doing this. But with Trump, it's just like, take the missiles, take the interceptors, take the military involvement, take the boots on ground, take it all. Here it is. It's yours. And that's a shift, right? And of course, I'm aware they've always had a great deal of influence in Congress and in our government. Of course, you've got things like AIPAC, the ADL, SPLC to censor people. And I get it. But, this time around, it's just full submission. It's like down on all fours. Just do what you want with me. I don't care to serve my country's interests. So.
Ally, this is treasonous behavior. But before we continue, let's take a moment to quickly understand who Jundallah is. To do that, we need to learn about the Balochistan insurgency. And to do that, we need to learn about the Baloch people. I know, it's like Inception, but to truly grasp what's going on here, we need to appreciate all the little details. The Baloch people are a distinct ethnic group with their own culture and language. There are about 15 million worldwide. The majority reside in the Balochistan region of Southwest Asia, which spans 3 modern countries: Iran, Pakistan, and Afghanistan. Of the 15 million Baloch, 8 million live in Pakistan, 4 million in Iran, and 1 million in Afghanistan. As a minority group in these nations, there are some Baloch who desire independence. And among them, there are those who believe that armed insurgency is the path to independence. The insurgency in Balochistan, therefore, is an ongoing revolt by Baloch separatists and various Islamist militant groups against the governments of Pakistan and Iran. Jundallah was one such group. They were a relatively small group with only a few thousand fighters, made up primarily of anti-Shia Salafi jihadists. In 2010, the US State Department designated Jundallah as a foreign terrorist organization due to its numerous attacks on Irani civilians. According to the State Department, Jundallah uses a variety of terrorist tactics, including suicide bombings, ambushes, kidnappings, and targeted assassinations. Notably, in October 2009, a Jundallah bombing killed more than 40 people. It was the deadliest.
Yeah, we've got you. I went on a little bit of a rant, so sorry. We haven't covered much ground, but go ahead. What were you saying?
Oh, no, you're good. You're good. Just make sure to hit that corner. Make it big on your side because it's still not big. Like screen share maximize the YouTube video. Okay, like look at your share screen. I'll do it. I'll do it. What's the timestamp for you in? 5:12.
Are you saying just go full screen like that?
Yeah. That's what I was asking. Yep.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Yeah. Okay. Boom. But yeah, we're going into the United States and their designation on Jundallah. So.
This shit is crazy.
It's crazy.
Attack in Iran.
Wait till you see what's
since the 1980s. All of these attacks were significant, but the October 2009 suicide bombing was especially dangerous for US-Irani relations. Not only did it kill civilians, but it also claimed the lives of 5 high-ranking officers from Iran's Revolutionary Guard Corps. At the time, Iran was furious, blaming the United States, Britain, and Pakistan for supporting the group. While all 3 denied the allegations, Iran insisted that Jundallah had foreign backing. But what Iran didn't know was that the foreign backers of Jundallah were actually Israeli. This information came from the former leader of Jundallah, Abdul Malik Rigi, who was captured by Iran shortly after the October 2009 attacks.
They're experts.
This is what these niggas do, chat. This is what they do. And you guys are gonna see here in a second how these guys almost started a war in 2009. This is under the Obama era now, obviously.
Yeah.
So,
and this also plays into the parallel. I was talking about this the other day on stream, and I'm not trying to do this thing where it's like, I said this, but I did say that the utilization of Salafi extremist groups do prove beneficial for United States and Israel. Why? Because they strongly oppose Shia militants in many cases. At least prior to 2015, you saw a lot of clashing of the heads of Salafi faction groups that branched off from power vacuums in Iraq and then eventually Syria, as well as these Shia militant groups. And so, of course, it's always beneficial for countries that want to gain hegemony in those regions like the United States or Israel to fund these Salafi groups and attack these Iranians, which we've effectively done for several years. But that kind of just stopped. It lost a lot of popularity as they started to align with the IRGC, some of them in Syria. But this is consistent. This is exactly what anybody who has any sort of knowledge on, the trends in this region would expect to see.
So I'm assuming when you went on your rant, you probably covered the religious aspect then.
Yeah. Well, I did, and
Okay,
I
good,
brought up
good,
I brought
good.
up the situation in Syria, Ahmed al-Shara, and how everybody's saying he's an Israeli operative, and that's because of the fact that he's an Orthodox fundamental Sunni Muslim who easily gained leadership in Syria that previously had a leader that welcomed the door wide open for Iranian proxy groups, Russian air control, and so on. And so it was very beneficial for the United States and Israel to kind of stay hands off and say, we would actually prefer this guy in power, despite the fact that he's Muslim and he's Salafi. He serves the interest of being opposed to the IRGC. And if you guys don't know, in Salafi Islam, like very rigid Orthodox or fundamental Salafi Islam, which is a sect of Islam, or really just like kind of a creed, rather, they strongly oppose Shia Islam, more so than any other kind of like sects of Islam or ideologies like Maturidi. And there's very fine and nuanced differences between all of them, but the basic generalization and the way to blanket over it and what you need to know is that the very rigid, strict Sunni Muslims strongly hate or dislike the Shia militants, and so they'll fight them regardless of the fact that they may be able to come together and see a common enemy. They treat them as viciously as they would treat the Israelis or the Americans, for that matter. You know, that they look at them in the same light. So it causes for an easy use of weaponization for Western powers, that being the United States, Britain, and Israel, which we've seen historically in this video is showing us.
Interview aired by Irani Press TV, Riggi explained that Jundallah had met with a mysterious group in Casablanca who claimed to represent NATO. Riggi said,
Interesting, they met in Morocco. That's very, very weird. What are the countries that signed the Abraham Accords? Very interesting. Morocco's in there, isn't it? Yeah.
Yep.
Serves as a perfect hub for those kinds of negotiations. So
that the group's
Now, Brad,
true
this was,
identity
hold on. To be fair, this is like probably like 2008, 2009, but Morocco was already friendly with the Israelis anyway, kind
yeah,
of.
they have been historically, as well as the West.
They've
allied
historically
with the
been
West.
friendly
They're
with
the
them.
first country to recognize America, and so they've always been very friendly and very willing to work or closely allied with Western powers, or Israel for that matter. So, yo, damn, that was the fastest I've ever seen somebody eat a burrito, man. You've been marathoning. You've been streaming 8 hours straight, huh? No food.
Suspicious to him as he reflected on the nature of their meetings. For example, he wondered why they hadn't just met in Afghanistan, where NATO already had a base and a much more secure line of communication with Jundallah. The other issue was the nature of the targets of the group suggested. They insisted that we transfer our operations from the eastern border region to the capital. We thought this was very strange. After thinking about it, we concluded,
Bruh.
Crazy.
It's like, come on, man. We obviously know at this point who would be the only crazies to say, yo, you know what? Nah, bro, we need you niggas to attack Tehran directly. You know? We need you to attack Tehran directly, bro.
Yeah, just casually, like, hey, you know, why don't you just take to Iran, actually, you know? It's, you can't make it up.
Hold on, rewind it again. Let's hear those instructions from them again. Yo, this is crazy.
Reflected on the nature of their meetings. For example, he wondered why they hadn't just met in Afghanistan, where NATO already had a base.
Go back to the beginning.
Information
Okay,
came
yeah,
from the
yeah, when they
former
were,
leader of Jundallah, Abdul Malik Riggi, who was captured by Iran shortly after the October 2009 attacks. In an interview aired by Irani Press TV, Riggi explained that Jundallah had met with a mysterious group in Casablanca who claimed to represent NATO. Riggi said that the group's true identity became suspicious to him as he reflected on the nature of their meetings.
No, good catch, by the way. I didn't even realize, I didn't even catch it until with the Morocco thing. Well, you're right. Morocco has always kind of been like on the low in aid of Israel. When did they're in the Abraham Accords. They joined in
2020, around COVID.
Hold on.
My memory serves
Let me
me
double
correct.
check. Yeah, I think that is when they joined officially, but I think they've recognized Israel even before.
Let's see how good my memory is. It's December of 2020, if I'm not mistaken.
Let me look right now. Abraham Accords. But I think that Morocco probably had something like unofficial with Israel even before that.
Yeah, they did, and the whole Arab world knows that.
There's a lot of Moroccan Jews. A lot of people don't know that.
Yeah.
Here, let me.
And there's a lot of Israelis who live in Morocco currently as well. You know, they have a safe space there.
Here you go. Morocco joined in December 2020. Go work, bro. Yep. So let me show y'all. Yeah, they joined in 2020. Now, my thing though. because they had to met with these guys like in 2007 or something like that. I wonder what Morocco's relationship was with Israel. They probably didn't recognize them officially.
You know what's the thing is, they've always hosted very large and excluded or exclusive Jewish enclaves in Morocco, and that's something that they did very differently than other North African or Middle Eastern countries. You know, I forget what the city is called. Maybe somebody in the chat can remind me, but there's like a city in Morocco, I think not too far from Casablanca or right outside of Casablanca, that is like only a Jewish population, if I'm not mistaken. You know, I have to look into that. I can't remember, but so they've always kind of been very friendly. They've been aligned with them. They've served them well.
Yeah.
You know, so unfortunately they signed the Cuck Accords.
They did so. Yeah, I like that, the Cuck Accords.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that meeting in Casablanca is weird as fuck.
Yeah. I mean, they met in Casablanca with some sort of shadowy group. He didn't know who actually was behind it. And so it makes you think, you know, of all these North African countries, why would Morocco be so gracious to kind of host this sort of meeting? Now, one may make the argument that the government had no idea of it, but since we have the
well, you know what? They're probably there on American passports. They're probably there on American passports. That's why.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the thing. Mossad is so covert. They're so low key. They can do these things with or without governmental approval. And that's kind of what this whole video is about anyways, in regards to Bush kind of having the surprise of this landing on his desk.
Yeah. They came in on, they definitely, you know what? They were, now it makes sense. They were in Morocco because they were probably there on U.S. passports. And then Morocco is probably one of the friendlier countries towards Jews and Israelis.
Like if they're caught, they're not actually going to be arrested like they were in Saudi Arabia or Qatar for these false flag attempts that were reported by Tucker Carlson.
Exactly.
They know that if they're in Morocco and their cover's blown, they're good. Right. So
yeah, they could probably even negotiate something. Yeah, actually good. Yeah, there's diplomatic channels and shit like that.
Yeah.
So
that escape plan is just not available in a lot of Muslim countries. You know, as much as people would like to think that Saudi Arabia is not really even that closely aligned with Israel. You know, people can make their conspiracies, but from what I see, in my opinion, I don't think they are. You can of course make the case for UAE. We all know that, but other countries, it'd be a risk.
Yeah,
for Mossad operatives to operate out of, it would certainly be a risk.
Bro, I was at the Burj Khalifa. And like, bro, it was the last day I was there. They literally, it was like a whole gang of them, bro. All with the official, you know, their official uniform with the white and black and the hats.
Yeah.
Bro, it was like 100 of the niggas there ready to go up to the elevator to go to the top of the Burj, bro.
Yeah, bro, that's their shit.
It was like it was crazy, and it's funny because like I asked every single Uber driver, and they were all pissed off that they were there. They were all like, "What the fuck."
Yeah,
because they had just allowed them there like the year before, some shit, or 2 years before. Yeah. It was new, bro.
They're closely aligned, you know. And the by the way, just pull your screen off so I can make this big for my chat. But
oh yeah, shit.
Pause. But yeah, no, that alliance is relatively new, but that's the goal of the UAE. They want to expand. They want a big hub. They want tourism. They want investments, and you know what better way to do that than to make sure you strategically ally yourself with Israel. So that's what they've effectively done, because I've said this many times that the oil is not going to pay the bills very soon. Maybe in the next, you know, honestly, you know, I wouldn't even say century.
And it takes the U.S. off your neck
40,
too.
40 or 50 years,
yeah.
And they don't
have to. It takes the U.S. off your neck automatically.
Yeah, they don't have to lean as heavily on the United States as well. So there's a lot of benefits for the UAE to be so closely involved with Israel as they have been, which is why they've kind of been enemy number one for Iran in these strikes in the Gulf countries. I mean, honestly, every Gulf country is getting the smoke, man. You got Kuwait, you got the airports in Kuwait, you got the airport in Dubai. I mean, a street right outside of the airport in Dubai. You got Baghdad now. They're no one's at mercy, you know. So.
He wondered why they hadn't just met in Afghanistan, where NATO already had a base and a much more secure line of communication with Jundallah.
Yep.
The other issue was the nature of the targets of the group suggested. They insisted that we transfer our operations from the eastern border region to the capital. We thought this was very strange. After thinking about it, we concluded that they were either Americans acting under NATO cover or Israelis. According to Riggy, the agents provided a list of names, addresses, and photos of people to assassinate in Tehran, along with equipment and explosives.
And can I just pause? I might catch some flack for this.
How much you want to bet all those names were nuclear scientists, bro?
Yeah, 1,000,000%. Can I just pause? John Kirikow, the clip is legendary. Can I just pause? That actually adds up, because Kirikow had said this is the case.
Yeah.
But you got to give the devil his due. This is just like remarkably clever. You know, sometimes I watch this and I'm just like, you know, you got to tip your hat. Like, it's bad. Like, we're against it, of course, but it's like, no wonder they're so good. No wonder they have so much autonomy. No wonder they're able to pull strings and make whatever they want come into reality or materialize. I mean, look at the lengths they go. Or the lengths they go to. It's just honestly remarkable. The pager attacks, I've never seized that amazement with Mossad operations. It's ridiculous. It is ridiculous. And, you know, not even the United States, they're a step ahead of us. You know, we're not even aware of some of the shit that they're doing. So,
well, Bush didn't know.
Yeah, Bush was surprised.
Bush didn't know.
Bush said,
Bush was like, what the fuck?
They put this shit on his desk. He said, what the hell, nigga? So, Bush said, what the hell? You got these Mossad operatives sitting somewhere in fucking Casablanca with this Morocco cucked-ass country sitting knees to Israel. So, this is what you're gonna do. You're gonna bomb Tehran. But specifically, you're gonna bomb these scientists right here. You have to kill 1, 2, 3. Like, bro, what? Like, bro, how the fuck can we get the drop on that? It's remarkable. They're very impressive in their operations. This is what John KIA was saying. He was saying that a Mossad operative would literally call up an Iranian scientist and tell him, you're gonna die tomorrow. You're gonna die tomorrow. And they would just explode the whole block. And it didn't matter who was a part of that explosion, so long as those 1 or 2 scientists that played a critical role in helping enrich uranium were killed. So it's like this
what the fuck?
Every single time this just seems to be the case. But it's impressive, you know, it is impressive.
Yo, what the fuck was that? Yo.
This is what they did. They sat them down and said that. Literally. The chat's losing their mind. Yo, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Yo, Riyadh, I gotta give you credit, bro. That Israel impersonation is crazy, bro.
Yeah,
that's how they really sound, though.
That's how they sound.
Yo, chat. See, some of you guys might be saying like, yo, what the fuck is that? True Israelis, that's how they talk. Okay, we're not talking about American Jews from New York. Okay, we're talking about Israeli niggas, bro. That's how they sound.
Yeah,
that's how they sound. Okay,
it's funny because a lot of Israelis, impressively, they can speak Arabic. They're all bilingual or even trilingual. Yeah. But you can always hear in their Arabic because of the nature of the Hebrew language, how rough it is, especially like around the throat, pause. You know, some of the ha and the other, you know, parts of the Arabic language don't translate over well. So like you can always hear an Israeli talk Arabic. You can kind of hear they can't get the ha, so they end up saying kha. And it's just like certain things like that. So that's it just comes from the nature of Hebrew.
Hamas properly.
Hamas. They say Hamas. They can't say
They
Hamas.
gotta say Hamas.
Yeah, they can't say Hamas. So it is
tell sign that it's an Israeli how they pronounce the H's.
But outside of that, many of them can speak Arabic perfectly. Yeah. You know, and not like modern standard Arabic like the Fusha, like the correct Arabic. I'm talking like dialectal Arabic for any sort of region, probably really like Falahi Arabic or Palestinian Arabic. They're very good, you know. It's the people they live amongst. And you know, they want to win, bro. They go to these lengths to get the drop, to get intelligence, to carry out their military executions or carry out their military missions. And I mean, if you want it that bad, you're going to get it, you know, blow up a bunch of cell phones and pagers.
Yeah, bro. For 10 years, bro. There's only one group of people that diabolical, bro.
You're not going to beat that. You know, you're not going to beat that level of methodical planning and expertise. It's just like I'm saying, you give the devil their due because you get mad about it. And then you just have to sit back and go, yo, this is like, how can I prepare myself for, such methodical planning?
They got cause these are real sad niggas. These bullock niggas, let's be honest, these are real sad niggas, bro.
Yeah.
Like they sit down like 10 of these niggas, right? These guys that are like, Jundallah, bro. And could you imagine the Israeli operative? He's like trying to sound American, right? And he's just sitting there because now I got like the picture in my head. They're sitting there at a fucking because he probably met them at like these Israelis probably met them at like some
dingy ass hotel somewhere in Casablanca.
Or they went to go eat. They're sitting there eating food and shit like that.
Yeah.
Under sitting down on the floor.
Yeah.
Eating with the fucking pizza bread and shit like that. And he's like explaining to them how they're gonna do this shit.
Yeah, eating couscous, some Moroccan cuisine.
Yo,
he just drops the bomb on these Arab niggas are probably, or I guess some of them being Persian, probably looking at each other like, yo, why does nigga sound Israeli? But To them,
Oh
it's
wait,
like,
they're giving us weapons though. Fuck it.
yeah,
Hey, who cares?
Hey, fuck it. Money, weapons. Hey, carry out the orders. We out to Tehran, nigga. We landed in Tehran. You know,
Here we
so
go. We wanted to do that third. That was a third step, but I guess we'll go there for the first step.
yeah,
You know,
and this is actually, you know, on a more serious note, this is a parallel to the Kurds. You know, these people that don't have a nation or are borderless, they're kind of in this somewhat of a diaspora, I guess you can say. They're always seen in a very opportunistic light or perspective from the Israelis and the Americans, at least the intelligence groups. And that's because, you know, we can weaponize these people in their loss for a community and culture and have them do our bidding for this like vague promise that eventually their needs will be met or fulfilled. And so this is the same thing kind of with the Kurds. Now, obviously, this is a lot more methodical and under the cover and radar because the United States president at the time had no idea of it. But this is kind of like the tried and true method. You know, you got a group of people who don't have any sort of belonging into a region. They're kind of outcasted. They don't have any laws or anything that represents them. And so it's very easy to weaponize them.
Yep. So yeah, no, this is the diabolical shit, bro.
Yeah,
that is really impressive.
This is crazy. This is next level, you know, methodical ability though.
Yo, how mad was Bush, bro? Nigga was about to hand over the White House to a black nigga, and he's literally getting he's about to hand this shit off to fucking Obama. Now he's got to brief him. Oh yeah, sorry, this Israeli operation happened under our watch. My bad, dog.
Yeah, and I'll say this. I really will say this. Like, I'm no fan of Obama, but the White House or Washington and our foreign policy at the time was a mess when it was handed to him. It was an absolute mess. You know, and he did nothing except perpetuate it even further, to be honest, in regards to him starting his conflicts in Syria, in Libya, and then Bush kind of continue on in Syria. So, I mean, like, you know, and Biden was right under him. So, I mean, they got the White House in a mess. They got the Middle East in a mess, but they didn't really make any effort to clean it up.
Someone said Obama was an Israeli puppet. Yeah, but he was less of an Israeli puppet than Trump.
Way less. I just said that when you were gone. I was saying the reason why, I'll say it very quickly again, just so you know, the reason why Trump is so much more of a traitor than those guys is because Trump is like not even offering any resistance to this Israeli prophecy or like this Israeli desire to overthrow Iran. It's just like he's completely submitted on all fours. It's like, we'll bomb them. We'll put the Marines on the ground eventually. We will nuke them. We'll hit their island. We'll do all, like, it's like there's no resistance. With Obama, at least he kind of condemned the Israeli settlements. You know, with Bush, at least it was like, what the fuck are these Mossad operatives doing with U.S. passports? But with Trump, it's like, the pager attack was brilliant. It was amazing. They killed all the terrorists. I don't even know his position on that, but I'm just like, bro, it's all these different things.
Oh, he loved it. He accepted the golden pager.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So
the pager from Netanyahu. Come on, man.
Yeah. Exactly. So,
bro.
So it's like Trump just offers literally no resistance to any of this, and that's why I said his attack and him starting the war on Iran is worse than what Bush did in Iraq, because at least there was some sort of domestic appetite for a war in the Middle East, a war on terror. The Muslims, they're causing problems, because there was terrorism and there were hot pockets of terrorism in the region. That was real. There was realness to that. You don't want to get too far and overcorrect in saying that there was none of that. There was some of that. So at least Bush had that on his side. But with Trump, it's like there's nothing there. Trump has nothing there, especially in a region like Iran. What are we doing there? You know, so it's so much different this time around. I already told them so. Sorry for repeating myself.
Understand? Like, look, a lot of people hate Obama, but Obama absolutely inherited the worst U.S. economy ever. Yeah. He inherited the war on terror, like 8 years in. Like, look, we can make fun of Obama all day, but he literally inherited the worst America ever, bro.
Yeah,
like the worst.
1,000,000%. Totally agree. That's funny though. Let's keep going.
Yeah, we keep going.
They also promised very high sums of money for the overall project, as well as specific amounts for each assassination. When the interview first aired, many dismissed Riggy's claims, suggesting that he was merely under duress. However, the leaked CIA memos from the Bush era that Mark Perry reported on in 2012 confirmed that Mossad agents were actually impersonating CIA operatives and meeting with Jundallah.
That's bad, bro.
It's crazy.
Okay, now let's take a moment to digest this information. Israeli Mossad agents were impersonating American intelligence operatives, meeting with a foreign designated terror organization to arm, fund, and train separatists so they could carry out destabilizing terror attacks on civilian populations and high-ranking officers.
Wait, bro, like I can't help but let this video continue to play without intervening. what more do like we have to tell you? Like, are you going to keep watching Enforcer? Are you going to keep watching these stupid ass Republican think tanks or these stupid ass Republicans who just echo themselves in this endless echo chamber of America? Like, what are we doing? This is the nation we're serving. This is the bidding we're working for. It's for people who have done things like this to us in the past. I mean, this is beyond treason. There's no word for this. This is ridiculous.
Bro, and like the crazy part is like they never dealt with no accountability, nothing. And here's the other crazy part. Most Americans don't even know about this Jundallah shit, bro. This operation that the Israelis ran. Most Americans don't know about this shit, bro. And yo, shout out to Propaganda and Co for putting this out. You guys can all see this. All declassified now.
Yeah.
Right? Y'all can all go see this. This is declassified now.
And people think this stuff is conspiratorial. This is 100%
No,
fact.
like
this is fact.
They do this all the time. These are just operations we know about. You guys know how many operations we don't know about?
Don't know about. Yeah, 1,000,000%. Exactly. And I bet you on that other side, what we don't know about is a lot more than what we probably know about. You know, we only probably got a small taste of what they've actually done.
Oh my God.
Region.
Here, keep running it though.
People wonder why is the Middle East so unstable? Why is the Middle East so unstable? I mean, you know, like I don't know. You know, maybe you know this country has a little bit to do with it, but
risking a potential escalation between either the US and Iran or the US, Pakistan, and Iran. This is treacherous, dangerous, reckless behavior by a supposed ally. Israel was essentially hoping that these false flags would be blamed on either the US or Pakistan or both, which could have instigated a war between them and Iran. Now let's briefly explore how destructive such a war would be. It would obviously devastate the lives of millions of people in Iran, Pakistan, and the Middle East, including the American troops based in the region. This would be catastrophic enough. However, this would also affect the entire planet. Here's how.
To the world economy's most vulnerable choke point, a sea lane through which 1/5 or more of all the oil and natural gas has to pass to reach global markets.
Iran has made clear that in the event of such a war, they would close the Strait of Hormuz, a vital choke point where 20 million barrels of oil travels through on a daily basis. This would cut off 30% of global oil trade. If this oil was delayed, even for just a single day, it would send oil prices soaring. But what if it were delayed for 30 days? If worst came to worst and the Strait of Hormuz was closed for a month or more, then crude would likely spike to $350 a barrel. The world economy would crater. This price per barrel would send gas prices to $11 per gallon and produce long lines at the gas station. And that's if your gas station would even have gas. And it's important.
How much did he say? How much did he say there with the $11 of gas?
He said $11 per gallon. Here.
No, but if he go back,
350 per barrel.
Oh, okay. Will likely spike to 300. Okay, yeah. If it went to 350 per barrel.
For 30 days. If worst came to worst and the Strait of Hormuz was closed for a month or more, then crude would likely spike to $350 a barrel.
No time that's more likely than right now, by the way. Go ahead.
Yep. And here's the other thing people need to understand. Brent, right? Which just so you guys know, Brent is the world, right? That's the world's oil. WTI is US. We're 2 weeks in. We're at $103 right now for Brent. Keep in mind, the IEA, how much oil did they, was it 400 barrels? 400 million barrels?
Pull it up.
Hold on, IEA, oil,
and the price only dropped because of Trump resorting to some desperate measures as well. That's something to keep in mind.
That's true.
That didn't happen organically. It didn't drop organically. It dropped because we forced it, which is eating out our natural resources as well as some last case scenarios that we would only use.
So let me show you ninjas right now what I'm talking about. So you go right here, right? So we got 400 million barrels. So while IEA's 32 member nations appeared hesitant earlier this week to tap into the strategic reserves, they ultimately announced they would release nearly 400 million barrels of emergency crude. Now, why is this important? So guys, keep in mind all the things that happen. Trump says, oh, we're the war's almost over. We're having the Navy escort. Fucking Macron says he's gonna have the Navy escort. They released 400 million barrels of oil into the market, right? And the oil is still $103 a barrel. Do you guys know how much it would be? And it's only been 2 weeks, by the way. It's only been 2 weeks. Do you guys know how much it would be if we didn't release this 400 million barrels? Which, by the way, is just putting a Band-Aid on a fucking on a bigger problem, right? and then we didn't, Trump didn't make all these announcements, it would be way more, bro.
Yeah.
Yo, we might, I'll tell you this, dude. We're looking at $150 to $200 of a barrel oil is very real.
Yeah. Yeah, he's right. He's right in that video he made, and he had made this video a year ago. You know.
Yeah.
So.
And we told you guys the Strait of Hormuz was going to get closed. I told you I was going to get closed back in June. That there's a very high likelihood they'll shut it down. Now they didn't shut it down because the war was too short. But this time around, there's no playing. Okay, so I think we covered this. Israeli false flags.
Okay, yeah.
No, that's good because the purpose was to show that Israeli false flags are real and their intelligence services are good. So for all the idiots out there that think that if you still think the riots were real at this point, you're an idiot, bro. I don't know what to tell you. If you still think the riots are real at this point, I don't know what to tell you, bro.
And this is what I said previously. I think everybody knows that they're not real, but it's just the voices that have power that bank on Americans to be ignorant enough to believe it without doing their own due diligence. You know, that's what Pete Hegseth is doing, Lindsey Graham, Marco Rubio. They're just banking on Americans to be dumb enough to kind of buy into all of these things that they've been saying in their briefings in the Pentagon and in Washington. And so they know that if somebody takes a moment in educating themselves for just 4 or 5 minutes, that all those lies won't sift past them. But they bank on the average American that is severely underaware or unaware in terms of what's going on globally. So that's why they've been able to push that lie so far. But it doesn't get far with somebody who's done just a little bit of research.
What do you want to cover? Do you want to cover anything in particular?
Well, this is what I wanted to cover. I think this is a telltale sign that Trump is panicking, coinciding with everything else that's kind of been happening. Take a look at this.
Right, go ahead. Yeah,
so,
let's do it.
I don't know if you went over this. This came out 2 hours ago on CNN, but it was
No,
first
I
reported
didn't.
like
Go
7
ahead.
or 8 hours ago. So this says, FCC chair threatens TV networks amid Iran war coverage, but this warning rings hollow. Obviously, this is CNN, so it's going to be a little bit biased against Trump, but you'll get the idea. So this article reads, President Donald Trump's attack dog atop the FCC, Brandon Carr, garnered lots of attention on Saturday for threatening the licenses of local broadcasters over news coverage he deemed to be fake. Carr has very little power to follow through. Television stations are not at serious risk of being banned from airwaves because of Carr's crusade. All right, yeah, this is like a bleeding heart liberal wrote this. However, his comments still carry weight since Carr represents the United States government and advances Trump's policy agenda. The administration keeps taking extraordinary actions and applying extreme pressure to crack down on news content and entertainment that the president dislikes. Thus, critics called Carr's latest threat authoritarian and unconstitutional. And some suggested that he did it for attention to publicly pressure local stations licensed by the FCC, the Federal Communications Commission, which, if you guys don't know, I said this earlier, but these are pretty much like the referees for the news. I think they were enacted in 1934, and they're responsible for licenses for mainstream media news outlets to report the news and kind of regulating what's being reported. TV, radio, other things. YouTube doesn't count for that, but kind of the mainstream things that you see on your local TV stations or channels. On Saturday, Carr followed up on one of Trump's Truth Social posts, complaining about news coverage of the Iran war by posting a warning on X. Quote, broadcasters that are running hoaxes and news distortions, also known as the fake news, have a chance now to correct course before their license renewals come up, end quote, Carr wrote. Quote, the law is clear. Broadcasters must operate in public interest and they will lose their licenses if they do not, end quote. Effectively, to translate that, if you don't say anything good about the United States in this ongoing war that we're clearly losing from a strategic standpoint, well, then we might remove your license to broadcast. But CNN obviously goes on to say why that's not feasible, why the threat rings hollow. Regardless, this is to kind of make a bigger point. I don't want to echo chamber these bleeding heart liberals, but they're right in their complaints about this, that you know, the United States is running thin on excuses to give to the public as to why we're at war with Iran, and Trump is doing everything he can to scramble his DOJ or his personnel to remove these doubts from the public press. Your camera just turned off. Are you still there? Uh-oh. Yo. Chat. We lost Myron. Okay. Let's try to get him back on. I'll read chats while we're waiting for him to get back on, because I know I got a lot of chats. By the way, thank you for the 5 gifted OSS Mall. My man, God bless you, man. Thank you so much. Yeah, I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened. We'll wait for him. His internet might have went out. Let me give him a call. Or the Discord call may have just disconnected.
Your call has been forwarded.
All right. We will... His stream went down too. Okay, his power may have went out. All good. We'll read chats. And we'll wait for him to get back on. He should be back on shortly. I have a lot of chats anyways, or a good amount. So, let me get these pulled up here. For those of you who are coming over from Myron's stream, I see you guys jumping over. I don't know what happened. I just called him. He hasn't responded. So we'll wait for him to get back on. I was going over this news article, but hopefully you were able to hear a good deal of it before the stream got cut off. But let's read some chats. If you're new here, subscribe, show some love. We're live twice a week. Obviously, I am Myron's brother, so we do our political and cultural commentary. Christian with the $10 says, one of the best up-and-coming channels. Hope you reach 100K soon. You're super well-spoken. God bless. Thank you so much, man. I really appreciate it. God bless you. Aaron Angus says, hey, Riyadh, I was listening to your video with Sneako and your brother. Question is, what is your take on Muslims doing wudu in public spaces? That's fine. Who cares? They're just washing themselves. It takes like 10 seconds. Ken Rose, $2. DPG with the $100. Thank you so much, man. He says, W Riyadh, WU, my friend. God bless you and your endless support. And then another big super chat from DPG. Shout out to One Chest, aka One Tit, for being a true soldier and brother. / great coverage as always, bros. Keep up the grind. We're here. We are here, man. We're keeping up the grind. Thank you so much. Because of you, we're working hard, man, with all the support you're giving us. So God bless you. Real Motivation World says $2 is for your post-workout protein bar. W Riyadh. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate that. Ms528 says nothing. Thanks so much. €1. OSS Small with the 5 gifted. Thank you. I already shouted you out earlier for that, but we'll give you another down to Marco. All right. Soulless Fool, welcome to the community. God bless you. Gifted 10, actually. Thank you so much, man. The Hebrew accent is very similar to French. Yeah, it's not that good, but it's just funny in context because that's probably how the conversation went. Thank you, Igor. DPG, another $200 super chat. Thank you so much, man. We're spamming the Don DeMarco, bro. He says, don't stop the grind, bro. Keep up the hard work and keep doing what you do. W stream, W bros, W content. Thank you so much, man. God bless you. Thank you for your support. Hour sends $10. No message. Thank you. Silicon Sage, $4. No message. Thank you. And then Hour, another $10. No message. Thank you so much. Hopefully I did not miss anything here. Thank you for the outpour of support, everybody. I really appreciate the love. We are live twice a week for the new people here. And if you haven't been familiar with my stream, I'm Myron's brother. But yeah, so we're waiting for Myron. Let me give him a call again before I continue to cover the news, because I had a couple more things I wanted to go into, but we need the emperor here. Yo, my stream can hear you. What's going on? What happened?
I think the Mossad got me.
All right, nice. Here. Guys, he's coming back. He's coming back.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, there we go. Here, since we got halted anyways, I'll finish the article because I'm sure a lot of your chat didn't get to hear all of it or really my take on it. But I'm just going to finish up a couple chats. Is that okay?
Yeah, go ahead.
Because I had a couple more coming before I actually...
Yeah, do what you got to do.
And then do you want to read chats after as well? I'm sure they kind of up on you.
They might have. OSS, can you guys hear me or not? Give me ones if you guys can hear me okay. I think Kit can hear me too. Anyway, no, go ahead, bro. You read your stuff if you need to read. I lost
okay, go
all
ahead.
my chat.
Yeah, go ahead. Interact with your chat however you need to. I turn your volume down on my end, so I'll just read this chat really quick. Downtown says, hey, Riyadh, I was wondering what you think. Thanks for the super chat, by the way. I was wondering what you think of Professor Zhang. Do you think anything he says is credible? I think some of the things he says is credible, but I'd be lying if I say I agree with everything he says. I don't like. Here's the thing. There's some things he said that I think he got really wrong. And so it kind of rubbed me the wrong way to really like take anything else he says serious. I mean that with all due respect. I know the guy's a professor. I know he's knowledgeable, but especially with like interfaith discourse and Islam and stuff, there's just some things he's gotten like profusely wrong and like things that you shouldn't get wrong. So I don't know, kind of like a little bit not the biggest fan. I like his stuff. I know Sneako watches him and Sneako takes notes. And I think overall, you know, he's a net benefit, can educate you very well, but I don't really watch him. MD427, thank you so much for joining the community. Appreciate it, man. Don DeMarco for you. Yeah, you guys can join Riyadh Squad for, what is it? What did I make it? $5.99 a month. It is the membership service on YouTube. If you want to show some more support, I really appreciate it. So we can run this show full time. Thank you so much, guys. Are you all good on your end, bro?
Yeah, man. I might, man. I'm pissed off. I might just get off.
Yeah.
I like,
you know, we cooked. It's late. If you want.
Are you gonna stay on a little bit longer?
Nah, I'll jump off with you, man. We could jump back on tomorrow and cook further.
Yeah. You know? Do you want to do? Can you do 7 p.m. tomorrow?
Absolutely. Yeah.
No, you're gonna go to gym. Okay. All right.
No, the 7 p.m. is fine. I
was gonna cover the Strait of Hormuz stuff, but you know we could do that tomorrow.
Yeah, there is a lot to go over with that. 7. Could we do 9?
Yeah. I'll start early and then you can come at 9.
Perfect. Okay. Actually, I gotta hit the gym.
Look, niggas are saying, "Come on, Myron, man, nigga, I've been on for 8+ hours. Stop." Shut the fuck
my brother's
up.
been on for a long time, man.
The hell you niggas talking about, Myron? Fuck you.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
Yeah.
You do you put the fries in the bag 8 hours a day? Probably not. You do it for 2 hours a day, and you complaining. Yeah, my hand hurts, my wrist hurts.
Yeah, but I was saying I'll wrap this up really quickly just for anybody who missed it, because there was a gap between your stream and my stream when you had reconnected. So Trump has obviously commanded the chairman of the FCC, Brendan Carr, to condemn these mainstream media news outlets in their honest reporting, what has graduated to an honest reporting of the situation in Iran, because it's been ongoing for 2 weeks, a lot longer than White House officials had anticipated, although intelligence assets warned Trump that it would take that long, and you would probably have to effectuate boots on the ground to get any coverage of ground. But it's a tell on Trump that, you know, he's kind of scrambling at this point to not only shut these mainstream news sources up, but, you know, play cover for the fact that not only is the United States losing strategically, but, you know, we're obviously doing the bidding for another country. It seems like CNN, Fox News have been increasingly more honest in doses as to how the war is actually panning out on the ground, the Iranian response, the Persian response, the civilian response. And so it's not looking good for him. He's trying to threaten the licenses of all of these big news outlets, but to no avail. He probably won't be able to actually do it. So there's that.
Look at
in terms of
shit. Since these niggas are bitching, I'll give you guys one more thing. Look at this shit, bro. So you see this? He said that he wants everybody else to kind of get involved with the Strait of Hormuz shit.
Yes, I did see. I didn't see this video though. Let's see. I saw that on Twitter.
We begin with breaking news in the war in Iran, now entering its 3rd week. Hundreds have been killed, millions displaced, billions of dollars spent. The war expanding across the region. The U.S. military says 13 service members have been killed. Tonight.
Also, just so you know, there's more than that have been killed. I already got one guy.
I'm hearing 80
in my group. You heard 80?
I heard 80. What did you hear? I don't know if it's true. What are you hearing?
My guy, pretty, you know, he's from OSS here. He's at least, he says at least another 6 dead.
Wow, that's crazy.
At least another 6, and then apparently there's people missing.
Wow. Yeah, so that toll is going to keep climbing. And by the way, this is the exact style of news Trump hates to be surfaced in terms of the war.
Bro.
He wants them to all come on and say, we're winning the war, you know, but they're not going to do that. It's just not the case, you know. So the reporting of the news has not been in his favor at all recently. And then you add the fact that midterms are around the corner. You add the fact that his approval rating is low. He's scrambling with the FCC.
This war is very unpopular, bro. It's super unpopular. And that's trying to, like, the enforcer pissed me off, because I'm like, bro, nobody wants this war. Nobody voted for Trump for this war, you fucking dumbass.
Yeah. And Trump is fighting a last stand to still sell this war, but it's failing. It's a fleeting gain, and that's why he's trying to censor it. He's trying to censor it, but it's not going to work. Yeah, it's not going to work.
He's looking for a political off ramp, bro, and it's just not going to happen, bro. It's just not going to like. Anyway, we'll keep playing.
President Trump renewed calls for countries that rely on oil flowing through the Strait of Hormuz to send warships to secure.
Yeah, that nigga, bro, he's trying to pawn this shit off on everybody else. Hey, man, I know we got into a war and y'all niggas can't get oil, but hey, bro, you guys got to send your warships, man. We're done.
Secure the shipping route. The strategic waterway now largely blocked for oil exports. CBS's Charlie D'Agata is in Tel Aviv and
Kate Riley, thank you so much for joining the community. God bless you, man. Don DeMarco.
Tonight, President Trump is calling on countries
Kate
from
Riley,
the
thank you
UK
so much.
and France, South Korea, and
We know UK ain't trying to be involved in this bullshit. That's why they didn't let him use Diego Garcia for a while.
Japan.
Took the words out of my mouth. They expressed that early on that they didn't want to be involved at all.
China to help keep open the Strait of Hormuz, that vital shipping lane, as Iran tries to strangle the flow of oil from this region. Thick black plumes of smoke rose into the sky above the United Arab Emirates, the major oil port of Fujairah, in flames as the Gulf states bear the brunt of a war.
Yeah, bro, that's crazy. Every time they hit, Iranian energy, they're like, okay, we're gonna hit the Gulf.
Yeah. They've used the Gulf as, like I said, this kind of pawn to do their bidding and put the U.S. in a tough position. By the way, I just want to say this really quick because you reported this while you're live, but I'll just say it to the people who are new or on my side. So 3 hours ago, we had explosions in Bahrain. We had Iranian missiles launching over to northern Israel. Yep, this is all of tonight. This is while I was in the gym. Alerts in the UAE. Iranian ballistic missiles launches to Israel, again, 2 hours ago. More Iranian missiles 2 hours ago, again, on a separate instance. And then Iran and Hezbollah joint missile attack on Israel, targeting the north and the central parts of Israel. By the way, this was 58 minutes ago. What did my brother say when we were on stream with Sneako? Once the interceptor defense missiles run low, expect Hezbollah, the Houthis, and other factions or military groups to get involved while Israel's weak and down for the count. So it's happening. It's happening. This is what we're seeing right now as time progresses. These are some real-time updates I'm getting from a very reliable source who relies on Telegram channels on the ground to report the news, which is always vindicated with mainstream sources 4 or 5 hours later. So you guys are getting the news very early, but Gulf countries are still getting hit. Missiles are still being launched towards Israel, and we've got reports that Israel is running critically low on interceptors, and this is from U.S. officials. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely nuts. It's yeah. Now the Houthis are going to get activated too.
They didn't start. President Trump said a U.S. bombing raid totally obliterated military targets on Iran's Karg Island, a key oil facility, while leaving its energy infrastructure untouched. Iran, in turn, threatened to target U.S.-linked regional oil facilities. Yeah. It's already attacked at least 16.
Yeah, ain't nobody going through the Strait of Hormuz, bro. That Thai boat got attacked. Like,
yeah, bro, it's over.
They're good, man. They're good, bro.
No matter what insurance policy or security benefit or guarantee Trump may offer, none of these guys are going to be heroes and go through that 20-mile passageway that has.
Bro, he can't even guarantee it. First he said the Navy. First he said the Navy would give them safe passage, and then he took that shit back immediately.
Yeah.
Fucking bullshit, bro.
Yeah. And this reads right here, I'll just read this really quickly. Israel had reportedly entered the current war already low on interceptors that were fired during last summer's conflict with Iran. Israel's long-range defense system has strained under Iranian attack. CNN reported that Iran was adding cluster munitions to its missiles, which may exacerbate the depletion of the stock. The U.S. has been aware of Israel's low capacity for months. One U.S. official said, quote, "It's something we expected and anticipated." And we know this is true because of the THAAD missiles being destroyed as well, or the THAAD defense systems. So it's on the U.S. end as well. This official emphasized to Semaphore that the U.S. is not running similarly low on interceptors of its own. That comment comes amid broader concerns about interceptor depletion from a long military engagement in Iran, leaving the U.S. in a poor position, which, guys, if this continues to happen, that could very well be the case, or it will cause a larger culmination of already unnecessary spend. So it's an L on all fronts, no matter how you slice it or dice it. And one thing I want to say, too, these left-wing media outlets have been excellent in their reporting. I hate to say that, but they've been perfect. And why? It's because they don't have a vested interest in Trump looking good in November. So they've been brutally honest in kind of jumping on any fact that kind of favors the idea that Iran is still standing strong and fighting back. So if you want the truth and you kind of really want to see what's going on, I don't know if I'm saying I'm endorsing or sponsoring these guys. They're all shit news outlets, but CNN has been pretty good. What I'm seeing on X and what I'm gathering on the ground and what I'm kind of seeing from the local sources seem to line up or be a little bit more parallel with that of CNN and other left-wing media outlets than that of the right-wing ones like Fox News. Fox News has been garbage. They've been trash. So be very careful about where you're getting your news as well when it comes to the United States, because it seems like, of course, like I said, the Democrats and the left-wingers would weaponize this against the GOP as it's going to benefit them for the House in November. And, you know, if you want to get the truth on the news, they're going to tell you what's actually happening, because they don't care for Trump to look good.
Bro, it hurts me to even admit that shit, bro.
Yeah.
That Democrats are doing a better job of reporting this war than Republicans.
They've been excellent. They've been excellent. They've been excellent. I hate to say that, you know, but it's just the truth. So,
because everybody else is like too scared, bro. Like all the big right wing talking heads, bro, are like cucks, man. Like they're cucks for the Trump administration. They don't want to lose that interview. They don't want to lose that access to the administration. They don't want to lose, you know, that, like, that's what it really is, man. Like, they're terrified. Like, you look at someone like Benny Johnson, right? Look, I like Benny, but he's friends with everybody in the administration, bro.
Yeah.
You can't expect somebody to like give you objective coverage on political commentary when they're friends with the administration, bro. I'm sorry. Like, Pam Bondi is his friend. Like,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying? It's cooked.
Whoa, thank you for the 5 gifted hour. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate that, Don DeMarco, for you. And Debbie Dior, welcome to the community. Thank you so much. Guys, I appreciate the love.
And Hassan doesn't even really like give like good Middle Eastern commentary like that, right? It's like, it's not even, because he's scared to also talk about them boys, right? And go all the way.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? So it's just like, yeah, man.
We've been ridiculously consistent. We've been ridiculously accurate. Again, go on my channel, because obviously I have a lot less streams than my brother, so you'll be able to find it easier. Go on my channel and just look at all of our videos and streams from February and early February when we started.
Well, mostly about everything.
We literally said all of this. We said all of this. So, I mean, hey, man, not to toot our own horn, but it kind of feels good because we were getting a lot of pushback in the beginning. You remember our first few streams, everybody was, what the hell? You guys are stupid Muslim third worldists. You don't know what you're talking about.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
Okay.
All right, nigga. Yeah, exactly. Like the thing is,
we'll see
like,
how that hubris fits you in the next few months, and look where we are.
And what people don't understand is, like, you guys know us. We're like, we're hardcore patriots. My brother is more religious than I am, but like, we can give you guys the Islamic mind state, right, without like being like idiots, right? Like, we're giving y'all like, we're giving you guys how the Muslim world thinks. We're telling you guys this is how they think. This is why this war is going to be an L. Now we're going to also explain to you guys like how Iranians and Shia Islam thinks. And we're giving you guys like a deep dive in their state of mind. Then we could take their state of mind, add the politics to it, and then give you guys like real accurate geopolitical analysis that other people simply can't give you guys.
Yeah.
And we're like the only ones that can give it. Because here's the other thing too, you guys got to remember, me and my brother are conservatives, bro. Like, we are pretty much right-wingers in every single sense. So we're not like a lot of these like progressive, bleeding heart liberal Muslims, like, which most of them are. Like, unfortunately, Muslims in America identify as liberals because Democrats tend to appeal more to what they want, right? Mass immigration, stuff like that. We're not with none of that. But we still give you guys, right? We still give you guys how they think. It's super important that you guys understand how they think, because the problem with a lot of Americans is they don't know how they think. So therefore, your ability to predict things is going to be contingent upon how you think versus how they think. I knew off-rip this wasn't going to be Venezuela. You want to know why? Because you're dealing with a theocracy. When you're dealing with a theocracy, when you're dealing with people that are, you know, very religious, right? Even though the country it can still be secular, the hardliners and the leadership is a theocracy. So they're not going to just fold like that. They're just not. This isn't Venezuela Maduro type stuff.
Yeah, and
people thought, oh yeah, bro, they're gonna go in there and just take it over. They're gonna kidnap this guy or bomb him, and it'll be done. It's stupid.
And it's evident, you know, Persia's existed for thousands of years, and look, we've successfully had things work in our favor, like Operation Ajax, and we've effectuated regime change there. And so I know there's that, but ultimately, to overthrow now this new Islamic Revolutionary Guard, this new Islamic regime, again, that's more theocratic. It's a lot more difficult because these people pride themselves and they enjoy or
that was a secular government. Mossadegh was a Ba'athist. Mossadegh was a secular Ba'athist, by the way.
Yeah. The one prior. I'm saying for the
Mossadegh, yeah, and they threw him over and they threw him out. They threw him out easy and shot. Both of them were actually Both of them were secular.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, 100%. And what I'm saying is now with this new Islamic type theocracy, the problem that you run into and what makes it so hard for you to kind of overthrow them is the fact that these people are charged up with the idea of being pleased with death. You know, martyrdom is like something they long for. So you have that, and then you also have the fact that Iran has just been able to strategically do their homework and prepare for the inevitable, which was an attempted regime change perpetuated by Israel and United States doing the bidding of that idea. So they've been preparing, you know, and we said this for years. It's just not going to be 1 or 2 days. Venezuela was honestly a one-off. It's never that easy. You know, we rarely have ever had regime changes that smooth, that easy. That doesn't happen in places like Puerto Rico. That didn't happen in Puerto Rico. That didn't happen in Cuba. That didn't happen in any of Latin America. So what happened in Venezuela was a one-off. It was very successful, and it also made Trump's head so big he couldn't fit through any doorway. I think he got overconfident, and he thought that he could do the same thing in other parts of the world. Look, in Cuba, it'd probably be easy, but this is Iran we're talking about, you know, so it's just. And
not only that, I'm pretty sure at this point, bro, now that I'm looking at it, he had to have had people that turned on him, bro. They like now look, they open up did they open an embassy in Venezuela and shit like that? Like, bro, now they're all pro America, blah blah blah.
Yeah,
bro, they 100% turn on this nigga and just gave him to the Americans, bro.
That's the thing, exactly. Beautiful point. The key difference is that Maduro and prior to him, Chavez, were hated. They were vicious dictators. They really were brutal, and the population didn't favor them for one reason or another. Obviously, there's several reasons you can go in and supplement as to why.
Chavez, they loved him in the beginning, but then they hated him after.
They began to hate him.
Yeah.
And Maduro was simply his successor in a way, with very similar ideology. And so
bus driver.
There was this hunger in Venezuela for, you know, some sort of regime change. I don't know if it was explicitly stated like that, but the people were happy. You kind of did see that. Now, obviously, the United States media is going to report that a lot more than what may be apparent on the ground in Venezuela. I'm sure there was some disdain and some dissatisfaction with American involvement. But from the most part, what I'm seeing from unbiased sources is that no one really liked Maduro, but that's just not the case in Iran. People really did like the Ayatollah, regardless of how evil he was or how good he was or what he did to Sunni Muslims or what he did to Christians or persecuted this, persecuted that. That all is irrelevant, and this is why people suck at analyzing situations or political analysis. They get emotionally invested. Pull the emotions out and look at it objectively and strategically. If people like a leader and you kill that leader, you actually make regime change a little bit harder, because now when that power vacuum is open, you're not going to fill it, and you're not going to charge up these revolutionaries in the country who have no backing or standing to fill it, because those who followed the leader are going to oppose them and they're going to stand in the way. What do we see now? You know, almost 250,000 IRGC guards on the ground ready for American invasion, and they're still ready. They still have the Shia mindset. They still have the IRGC.
There's a million
branding.
of those niggas, bro.
Yeah,
IRGC alone is like 200 to 300K, and then their army is like another it's 1 million plus, bro.
And that's
they got a 1 million man army, bro.
That's not counting crazy civilians who are going to take up arms as well. You know, so top to bottom, it's just not a good scenario for the United States to enter whatsoever.
Stupid, bro. It's so dumb. We'll keep going here.
Tankers and other vessels. In Iraq, smoke was seen coming from the vicinity of the U.S. Embassy compound in Baghdad's Green Zone. We're also learning more tonight about some of the 6 American aircrew killed when they're...
All right, what do you think, bro? They're saying, I know Iraqi resistance forces said that...
Baghdad, they claim responsibility.
They claim responsibility for this KC-135 or 130 tanker or whatever. But I'm also hearing that, hey, there was apparently it was a in-air collision in the middle of like a fueling exercise.
Yeah, saying it was a crash. Yeah, I'm really not sure. I haven't seen much evidence to lead me in either direction. I suppose I would lead towards the kind of the Hezbollah one. I think it was some sort of faction of Hezbollah in Iraq that caused that Baghdad embassy attack. Let me look at what I saw earlier.
Yeah.
But
hey guys, my brother's live right now. Do me a favor, guys. Open up a tab. Watch him if you guys prefer, JTube. I hate JTube, but stay on Kick. Watch on Kick as well. I'd appreciate that. But yeah, show my brother some love. Open up a tab.
Thanks, man.
Watch him on there. We're gonna run this shit up. And yes, I know you guys have been asking for me and my brother to do something. We have something in the works for you guys. I promise it'll be good. We do have something in the works for you guys. We just have to be strategic about it. But we do have something for you guys coming very soon that I think you guys will enjoy.
Here, let me read this chat.
Yeah, go ahead.
I just saw it on your screen. I'm so bad at looking at my chat. Guys, you got to realize, and I'm still new to the streaming thing, when I'm like monologuing or I'm doing my breakdown and then I look at the chat, I lose focus. I don't know about you, but like if I read a chat, I just lose my train of thought. So I just like don't look at the chat while I'm talking. It's like I can't do both.
Yeah, no, it fucks you up, bro.
Yeah,
it's a learned skill.
Yeah, it is a learned skill for sure. Really quick though. Hour says, hang on, let me just make sure I'm caught up here. Yeah, Hour says, oh, Devi Dior, thank you for joining the community. I think I already said that, but I just want to make sure I'm not missing that. Hour says, thank you. It's so tough to face the facts. Keep pushing forward. Hey, God bless you, man. I appreciate the love. Okay, RH4270 says, you are both the realest out here reporting. Has to be in the DNA. Loving the bro collabs. Hey, thank you so much, man. Yeah, we're keeping it as real as we possibly can for you guys. We have no vested interest in either side except for the United States. We want the United States to be put first. We want it to be prioritized. And, you know, if regime change
we're
doesn't
telling you
serve,
guys what it is, bro.
if
Like, we've
regime
been very
change doesn't
accurate.
serve our interests and it serves Israeli interests, we're going to tell you guys that. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just going to say, like, we've been accurate on almost everything. We told y'all that Trump was going to look for a political off-ramp. We told y'all Strait of Hormuz was going to stay closed. We told you guys that the insurance is going to be outrageously high for everybody and they wouldn't be able to fucking deal with it. And, like, you know, everything has come true for the most part, right? You know, and then the only reason, just so you guys know, some of you guys might say, oh, well, Myron, you predicted like easily $120 to $130 price points for a barrel of oil. Well, number one, it did hit that price point, so I was correct. And then number two, the only reason it's stabilizing at 100, which, by the way, stabilizing at 100 is crazy.
Is horrible.
Okay? That's horrible.
It's terrible.
Like,
Like, the bar, how low is the bar? Like, the bar is so low. Oh, oil is back to $100 and Trump is the best. Yeah, do you know what Trump did to get the oil prices back down to $100? You stupid fucking. All right, we're on YouTube. Go ahead.
Yeah, no. It's like dudes are stupid. Like, you guys don't understand the political jujitsu that they had to do to get it down just to 100, and 100 is still trash, bro.
Yeah.
Like, do I need to remind y'all niggas they released 400 million barrels of oil? They released never done before. 400 million barrels of oil. Trump is giving people waivers to buy Russian energy, bro.
Yeah, he lifted
like
it for
what?
a moment. Yep.
Like, yo,
the deepest that we've dug into them, I think, ever, by the way, from what I'm understanding. So
yeah, no, it is the
crazy.
deepest. This is the biggest release ever. And also, guys, keep in mind, that's in the international community. I told you guys this before, and I'll say this again. When we invaded Venezuela, do you guys realize that we had the lowest petroleum reserves in our strategic reserve? We had the lowest amount since the 1980s.
Yeah.
That is why Trump, a big part of the reason why Trump invaded Venezuela was because our our strategic petroleum reserves were low. Biden had been tapping into that ever since like 2022. Oh, what happened in 2022? Oh, Russia invaded Ukraine.
Yeah, we
see how it all comes back?
We told on ourselves with that Venezuela regime change. We did. We 100% told on ourselves. And that's something a lot of people don't realize, too. We thought that Trump just wanted to remove this vicious dictator. No, we were actually having a hard time with the petrodollar, and we needed to establish some sort of dominance and put our foot in the door. And so that's why we did it. But that exposed ourselves to not only BRICS, but Iran, China, Russia. They probably saw that regime change and thought, okay, exactly what we thought was going to happen. This confirmed our suspicions.
And that made them back. That made the Chinese and the Russians back Iran even harder, especially the Chinese. The Chinese lost their cheap oil in Venezuela. They said, "No, we can't let these guys go now too."
Yeah.
These guys are like on our side of the hemisphere now.
Yeah, and
we don't want a vassal state here for the U.S., which is what Iran would be if they get toppled.
Yeah. And from what I'm reading, by the way, you can correct me if I'm wrong because I haven't seen any official reports on this. So I don't like to speak on it too much, but I have you here to fact check me. I'm seeing that Iran is still able to export tons of oil to China anyways, despite this whole situation.
They are.
Okay, so that destroys the whole, well, the benefit of destroying Iran is it's geostrategically important to be close to China, as well as the fact that we can slow down that oil export. Well, clearly that hasn't worked either. They're still able to advantageously make money from the super cheap oil that they're giving to China, whilst still making it difficult for all other of these Gulf countries to export their oil, by the way, 80% of which moves through that tight passageway, being the Strait of Hormuz, about 20 miles wide. So you got that as well.
Bro, it gets even worse. Look at this. Al Jazeera breaking news. Iran may allow oil tankers through the Strait of Hormuz if trade in Chinese currency.
Wow. Yeah, that is crazy.
I reported this yesterday. Bro, we just made China stronger. Like, I'm trying to explain to people, like, bro, do you guys not get that, number one, right? Okay. And I was explaining to them before, but I'll explain it for your audience here because some of these people might not know. The U.S. is built upon four main pillars that make us powerful: reserve currency status, the petrodollar, the SWIFT banking system, and our military superpower. Venezuela violated us in two different ways. Number one, they were circumventing the petrodollar, and then they were undermining our reserve currency status by doing their transactions in Chinese yuan and also dealing with China, right? So we said we got to get this guy out of here. So now China loses a foothold in cheap oil. So what do they have to do? Now they got to go to the Iranians. You think they're going to let the Iranians go down too?
Yep.
For that? Now, let me be clear about this. I'm not saying China's going to put boots on the ground or whatever. No, but China has significantly assisted the Iranians more than any other country I've ever seen them assist militarily.
Yeah. And there's a great benefit to them doing it because they're able to do it without getting directly involved. Same thing with Russia. Russia is giving Iran security advances as well as intelligence advances as to where U.S. assets are, how to strike them, what's the best way to go about them, when, how, all of these different things that they can utilize. And so these two other world superpowers can sit back and kind of give Iran support through the back door. Not only that, but also simultaneously analyze U.S. assets, military equipment, aircrafts. If those fall out of the sky, they'll investigate them. They'll take a look at them. And the edge that we have over these countries within this war and how we're compromised, we're fully involved while they're sitting back and watching and taking notes. That gap will shorten. You know, we'll lose that very, very large gap of hegemony or military superiority so long as we continue to fight Iran, because these countries are just opportunistically banking on us to stay occupied and distracted, you know. And then you got the Strait of Hormuz, you got the oil, you got the Chinese currency. It's a mess, and all for what?
We've basically abandoned the Pacific West, right? China territory. We've basically abandoned them there. We've taken those interceptors from South Korea. So now South Korea is kind of wide open. You know, Kim Jong-un is literally rubbing his hands like this. That bro's trying to get involved in this conflict. You know what I mean? So,
everybody's seeing how they can benefit to hurt the United States. That's really what it is right now.
Yep. So like it's like blood in the water, bro. Like we're bleeding resources, finances, time, soldiers, diplomatic strength and power. I told y'all this before. You can kiss us having a presence in the Gulf goodbye after this. Like we are never going to be able to project power in the Gulf the same way ever again. The Gulf states are never going to forget the fact that we left these dudes to dry and get cooked by the Iranians, and we can't even fully protect them. They're still getting hit with drones. They're still getting their sovereignty invaded by the Iranians. And why are they going to keep a military base there, right? When we are the reason they're getting attacked. Our whole purpose of being there was to protect them. We didn't even do our jobs. So when push comes to shove, the Gulf states are going to say, look, U.S., we love you, might still do business with you, but you guys are never going to have the same military presence here. You guys can only have a defensive posture here. That's it. No fighter jets, no nothing. You guys can only have interceptor missiles, radars, and that's it. No staging for war. Because here's the other thing too. That's assuming they even let them have military bases. They might not even let them keep military bases there anymore.
Yeah. Well, they're liabilities at this point. They're liabilities.
They're huge liabilities. You know what the funniest part about this? It's going to be the Iranians that tell the Saudis and the Qataris and everything what they can have there in their bases. That's going to be the funny part.
Yeah.
They're going to be the ones to tell them, all right, you don't want us to attack you no more? They got to withdraw. We don't want no Americans here. So, and that's already what the Supreme Leader, Mossad, already said. America, you guys get out of the Gulf.
And they're going to have to concede as well, because these Gulf countries don't have opposing military factions to actually fight back against those potential demands. And they don't have the United States to support them militarily as well, despite the bases existing there. So the bases exist for no reason, because the United States is stretched wide and thin across the entire region. They have to prioritize Israel, and they've got bases in these countries to defend them that are getting them attacked. So they're doing exactly what they're not supposed to do. They're working in an opposite direction. They're not keeping them safe. They're actually putting them in danger. Again, playing into the brilliance of the Iranian strategy and hitting these Gulf countries in the GCC. What's more, something that really terrifies me is Donald Trump is obviously an egomaniac. And so the United States is in a strategically inferior position. Economically, we're going to get drained. Militarily, we're getting drained. We're using more missiles than we've used in recent history. And you would think that maybe if Biden was in office or Obama was in office or somebody who wasn't so obsessed with himself, or self-obsessed rather, would be in office.
Here, you want me to take this down so YouTube isn't mad at you anymore, by the way?
Yeah, I'll take it down.
Yo, that shit had me hot, bro.
No,
I was more mad they fucked with you than with me, bro. Like, fuck this shit. Like, bro, okay, let me stop. You're on YouTube right now. Let me stop. Whatever.
It's good.
Go ahead.
And so something that scares me about Trump is, you know, in opposition to other presidents who would kind of go, okay, maybe this isn't a good idea, we should pull out. I don't sense that. Despite the fact that we're in a strategically inferior position, Trump is going to go, hey, maybe this is a losing battle. You know, let's live to fight another day and visit this situation later, or see if we can come to some sort of peace agreement. Maybe there would be a ceasefire, and I'd love that. I want to be wrong on this, but I anticipate that Donald Trump is going to fight this until the end, until optically he looks like the winner, which the only way for him to look like the winner or come off that way is to effectuate complete regime change. And so that's what's really
You
scary.
think he's going to take it all the way for regime change? You think he's going to try to take it all the way for regime change?
Look, Trump has already lost politically. So to me, he might as well leave with his balls hanging out. And to me, that means he's going to try and make some sort of dent that will give the IRGC this crutch that they can never recover from. I don't know if that means a nuke. I don't know if that means maybe boots on ground temporarily. We don't know. We've flirted with the ideas. But again, I think that Trump is so power obsessed and he's just like a maniacal ego crazy person. I think he's going to push this until the point where he can effectively say, hey, I pulled out, but I did this, I did this, I did that. You know, he wants to be able to have some bragging rights because right now, if Trump pulls out, there's nothing he can say besides we killed Khamenei, in which his son, who's crazier than him, succeeded him. So you actually made things worse. You made things worse. You know, I'm fucking cooking, bro. I'm fucking cooking. Down to Marco on these niggas, man.
Yeah.
Like this is what it is, bro.
Yo, hold on, wait. The American taxpayer paid to get Ali Khamenei killed, but they got another Khamenei.
Yeah, bro.
So let me get this straight. You killed Supreme Leader Khamenei, but now you still have Supreme Leader Khamenei.
We're cooked. We're cooked. Our U.S. bases that are supposed to defend the Gulf countries have turned into hot spots of missiles. So instead of defending them, they're actually getting them attacked. So they're working in opposite tandem. You have the fact that we got a crazier leader in Iran now. You also have the fact that Israel's about to gain complete autonomy over that region.
He's mad.
And he's pissed. He's charged up. So he's going to be even crazier than his father. He's going to overturn some of his religious rulings or authorities or fatwas. It's a horrible situation top to bottom, which is why I predict Trump is not going to pull out now. Because if there's any point in this war where he's at its lowest or he's at his lowest, it would be right now. If things get worse than this, I don't even know how I could predict it. So no way Trump, I think, is going to, try and stop now. And there's been negotiations or the idea of a ceasefire. I've been seeing that roaming around in these news sources, but I think ultimately Trump is going to try to make a bigger dent in the IRGC before he ultimately pulls out. And remember, he's got Benjamin Netanyahu on his back. He's got his donors on his back. And, he's already started it. It's like finish what you started kind of situation. The Israelis have been desperately hungry. There has been the strongest appetite for regime change in Iran, so much more than any other country, whether that be Syria, Afghanistan, these South American countries. Iran was target enemy number one. It has started.
Saddam was number one, and when they got rid of him, then it was
This is the biggest concern of the Israelis and has been for the last 20 years. They've just kept it under wraps because they had lesser formidable foes that were easier to topple, and so they took care of that first. Now this is the big dog. This is the last man standing. This is the last axis of any sort of Israeli resistance. So for the Israelis, this is endgame. And you can bet your ass they're in Trump's ear, not only begging him to finish what he started, because if he pulls out now, he's going to look bad and he's an egomaniac, but as well as the fact that who knows, Benjamin Netanyahu or Israeli officials may be saying, if you pull out, that's fine. We're just going to nuke them. So you have that as well. And we know they've done that historically. They have done that in the Yom Kippur War. They did tell Nixon, hey, you better send us some weapons because if you don't, we're just going to nuke this whole region. That may be something that they're doing now, which is why Trump started this war out of nowhere. Not out of nowhere, actually. You could read between the lines and see it was coming.
The Israelis were, Marco Rubio let that slip, and me and you called this.
Yeah.
We said this before the war happened. We said the war's inevitable because the Israelis are attacking. Since the Israelis are attacking, the Americans have to get involved.
Yep.
So Trump said, okay, they're going to attack anyway. We might as well get involved and run the operation at least. Let's run it operationally so that we can kind of, whatever. So in his eyes, he was like, okay, he was praying to God. Let's kill Khamenei. Let's kill his top 50 people. And then that will effectuate the regime change. I can walk away from this. Nope, nigga. That's stupid. Those Mossad agents told, you know what, Riyadh?
That's not how these theocratic regimes work, man.
Yo, Riyadh, you know what? How much you want to bet, bro? When Netanyahu was here, because he was here a couple weeks back, right?
Yes.
And it was all business. Nigga didn't do no meeting beforehand. None of that shit. He took the side door, actually. He took the back door to go into the White House. A lot of people don't talk about this. He didn't do what he normally does. They come around the front, they shake hands, they greet the leader. He didn't do none of that fucking shit. He went around the back, right? For his 7th meeting. How much you want to bet? That nigga brought 3 dudes from Mossad. And they gave the intel briefing. I don't know if you want to use your Israeli accent or whatever. Yeah. But they gave Trump the intel briefing about why they need to attack Iran right now and how it's going to be a regime change and how they got spies in.
Mr. President, we have to attack Iran now. They are going to nuke everyone. Everyone gonna die unless you go to war. They definitely, bro, look. I'm not saying Trump believed it or he bought it, but
Yo, I'm telling you, those niggas went in there with a board and everything, and they said that shit.
And it's not even that Trump believed it. Trump probably knows it's BS, but Marco Rubio gave us the missing context clue we need in his briefing. What did he say? He said Israel was going to strike first. And here's the thing, if we leave Israel alone, we say, you know what, piss off, go strike first. We're not helping you. They're going to start a war they cannot handle militarily. They were already low on interceptors before this started. That's per U.S. intelligence. So they didn't even have the capabilities in terms of air defense to withstand a war they would start. So that's the whole preemptive thing. What would that lead Israel to likely do? Flirt with the idea of a nuclear weapon entering the picture. If that happens, the shockwave effect across Russia, China, all these other Arab countries would be catabolic. It would be horrible. And so, it's maybe it's blackmail, maybe it's donors. I think it's everything combined with the fact that Trump is afraid a conflict is going to break out in the region that he will have no control of if he allows Israel to get involved alone. And that's what they did. They said, yo, we're doing this, so we recommend you join us. But if you don't join us, things will probably end quicker. And that probably means a nuclear option, So
it would end quicker. It would end quicker. And here's the other thing, too, people don't understand. Number one, the Israelis have an ambiguous nuclear strategic ambiguity is what they call it, right? Translation, we have a nuclear program, but we don't publicly acknowledge it because it would lose our U.S. funding. Here's the other thing, too, for the U.S. If the Israelis nuke the Iranians, say goodbye to counter-proliferation for the rest of your fucking life, bro.
Yes.
Say goodbye. Nuclear proliferate, non-proliferation treaties, all that shit, done.
It would change
everyone,
the
that
world.
means nothing. It would change the world. It would undermine the United States, and every single fucking country on Earth is going to pursue a nuclear weapon. They're going to say to hell with sanctions, to hell with the IAEA. We don't give a fuck. These Israelis just bombed a non-nuclear power. We're going to get the nuclear bomb too, and then most importantly, the entire Middle East. Yes, there you go. That was that, and that's the real fear. That's the real biggest fear.
All of them, Egypt, every single one, they would all race towards some sort of nuclear capability because. I mean, why wouldn't they? They just saw Iran get toppled because they didn't have a nuke. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like it would just be intelligent for these countries to race after that if they saw Iran get nuked. And then this is the kind of the whole dilemma with the poli-science. The United States had to get involved, but that's because Trump let them cover so much ground under his two administrations. They made so many changes with Mike Pompeo saying the IRGC are terrorists, with the killing of Qasem Soleimani, with the killing of Hassan Nasrallah, with the destabilization of Yemen. All these things led to it making things so much easier for the United States and Israel to eventually launch this attack that they did 2 weeks ago. We're exactly 2 weeks into this conflict, but this all started from Trump weakening so many vital pillars and standing points for the axis of resistance to exist. So this is all a culmination of Trump's policy. He allowed this to manifest.
Yeah, this was the beginning of the end when he killed Qasem Soleimani, bro.
Yeah.
This was the beginning of the end, if I'm going to be honest. Pulling out the nuclear deal and then making the IRGC a terrorist organization and then killing Qasem Soleimani, this was really the beginning of the end right here, bro. And also, just so you know, the Israelis were involved in this operation. They pulled out last second to leave Trump with the bag. They needed Trump to be the one that killed him. So Iranian aggression wouldn't just be on the Israelis. They were involved in this operation. They pulled out last second, dude. And Trump, obviously being the egomaniac that he is, he was okay with taking all the credit for it, but he didn't realize that he fucking he signed a death warrant for the United States with that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like this was not good, because what the Israelis did that on purpose to force the United States to have blood on their hands.
Yeah.
And keep us involved in this conflict.
Yeah. Just like what they did with Jundallah and the American passports. They have to effectuate some sort of American involvement. They have to, because here's the thing. If these Mossad assets...
This nigga was an enemy for the Israelis. Look, former Mossad, Yossi Khan says Soleiman's strategy had personally tightened the noose around Israel's neck. This guy was an enemy of Israel, bro.
Yeah.
Okay? Like this nigga, this guy was no fucking threat to us, dude.
He was top dog of all the proxy network. He was the guy, He created everything, and he kind of strategized how it would work, where they would be, how they'd be stationed.
He was the head of the axis of resistance for sure.
Yeah, he was the brains behind it. And, here's the thing. Israel strategically has to involve the United States. That's why they use our passports in their intelligence operations, because once they do their evil deed, the victim of said evil deed will go, "Wait, hang on, this wasn't just Israel, this was America. So you know what? Americans are now our enemy as well." And what does that have Israel, or what does that allow Israel to do? It enables them the ability to say, well, this is your fight too, because they're saying they hate Americans. They killed a couple Americans in response to us using your passports. So you got to be involved.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? No, you used our passports. That's why they want to kill. That wasn't us. So it's methodical planning on another level. This is why I say you got to give the devil their due. The first step to understanding this enemy is understanding how brilliant they are. This is remarkable, you know? Again, the Jundallah, the Pager attack, everything else, the nuclear program.
I mean, look, here's the thing. You guys can sit there and call us anti-Semites all day. I would argue that we actually are very respectful of the Israelis. I praise their intelligence services all the fucking time. I tell y'all, I think the Mossad is better than the CIA. If I'm keeping it 1,000 with y'all. The CIA is better funded. Obviously, it's bigger. But given how small Israel is and what they fucking do, I think they're a better intelligence service than the CIA. Also, keep in mind, they don't have any fucking limits. They don't care. They will do whatever they need to do, to include steal from their from their aides like us.
Yeah, there's no red lines for them. That's the whole, like, you know, Iranian scientist thing. There's no red lines for them. So it's very easy for them to carry out a task. They just need a general area. They just need a general idea. And it doesn't matter who's in the way. It doesn't matter who might be put on a targeting or strike list, that being the United States, in response to said attack. They will do it. They don't care. As long as the job gets done. That's what matters for them.
So. Yeah. Here, so I had this tweet here. Like, this is what the U.S. has thrown into the region. B-1 Lancers, B-2 Spirit Bombers, B-52s, B-15s, 16s, 18s, 35s, 22s, nuclear subs, guided missile destroyers.
This is our best stuff, bro. This is our best stuff.
Yep. And the Iranians are still here, bro. Like, that's the crazy part.
And
right? They're spending way less.
Isn't it insane that Iran has been able to kind of stand up in some degree to the United States with just a missiles program? Like, they've got no Navy, they've got no Air Force, they've just got missiles. And they're making it.
And make no mistake about it, chat. They'll sit there and talk about their Navy. We destroyed their Navy. Bro, the only reason we're in Iran right now is because of the ballistic missile program, bro.
Yeah.
That is the only reason we're there.
This is just a missiles program that is causing this much havoc in the region. So it is what it is, but that's the situation right here, man. That's the situation we're dealing with currently. And we're 2 weeks in officially. We're two and a half weeks in at this point, or 2 weeks in 1 day. So
what are your thoughts on we could jump in Suleiman's space for like the last 15-20 minutes here. See, look, I gave you guys an extra hour. I don't want to hear no bitching. So what are your thoughts on Netanyahu being dead? I don't think he's dead. I just think
it's true. If
he's hiding.
I was saying the other day,
or he might be injured.
Yeah, I was saying the other day, I don't think it's true. I think he's hiding. And that's how you know that's a sign that they're ramping up the attacks on Israel, and they're kind of narrowing their focus there. And, because they've been really primarily using the Shahed drones, or these suicide drones in the Gulf regions.
And they're way more accurate, bro. That's how you know they're getting Russian and Chinese intelligence, bro. They're hitting these high rises, bro. They're definitely killing CIA operatives and military officials.
Yeah, people think they're just attacking like random civilian infrastructure. No, they're targeting key military personnel or intelligence personnel that belongs to Israel or the United States that Russia is glad to give them the drop on, as well as maybe even China. But in regards to Netanyahu, last week, actually a week ago exactly, I remember I was with a couple of my Arab buddies, and they've got all the Syrian and Arabic news up on their phone, and it was going viral in like Arab media that Netanyahu was dead last week. I don't know if you saw that surface on your Twitter timeline, and like all the Arabs were celebrating and stuff, but it was fake news. So that happened again today. I don't think it's true. We'll see what comes over these next few days. I will say, if he were to be like KIA or anything like that, I don't think it would surface right away. I think they'd give a buffering or a briefing period before announcing that. But that would be like Iran would win the war if they did that. You know what I mean? Like, effectively and symbolically, they would win the war from a global perspective. On an international scale, that would give them the biggest moral and symbolic victory ever. So I don't think that they'll be able to make that happen, but who knows? I don't believe it. I don't think it's true.
Yeah, if they pulled it off, I'd be shocked.
Yeah.
Because the thing with Netanyahu is, I know he has like two main ways that he stays alive during times like this. One is he flies in the air. They have like their own version of like Air Force One, the Israeli version. And then the other one is he has like a very secret and very powerful bunker in Tel Aviv, somewhere down in Tel Aviv. Yeah, and then he also hides out in Germany too. He hides out in Germany and he'd be hiding out in Greece.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that's just what we know about. He's probably going to hide in a country that's guaranteed to not get involved in this conflict at all, so he doesn't pose any threat to himself. But the IRGC has vowed to hunt down.
Yo, he probably got how much you wanna? He might have a bunker at fucking Auschwitz, bro. Ain't nobody gonna attack Auschwitz.
Maybe the IRGC would.
And it's in Poland.
They'd probably be the ones to do it. Yeah, that's true. No, look, they're promising to take him out, but I don't think they're going to be able to make that happen. Let's get real. Yeah, look, my prediction is I don't think they can kill him. If I'm wrong,
yeah, very hard.
I'm wrong.
I'd be shocked.
I would be taken aback. Yeah, I'd be shocked.
I'd be shocked. All right, we'll go back to this video.
135 refueling aircraft crashed in an apparent mid-air collision over Iraq on Thursday. Tech Sergeant Tyler Simmons, 28, of Columbus, was one of 3 Ohio Air National Guard members to have died, according to his family. Sergeant Simmons was a boom operator.
Yep, that's the guys that the boom guys is the thing that they used to put it onto the jet to refuel it.
Video showing him refueling a fighter jet mid-flight. His mom, Cheryl, said she spoke with her son just the day before.
He was truly an amazing man. And to do the job as an air refueler is a special person. He's just that guy, and he would do anything for you.
While in Iran, Red Crescent workers recovered the bodies of the latest round of U.S. airstrikes, the death toll climbing to more than 1,400, according to the regime.
Yeah, it's higher than that now. I think we're up in the 2000s. Let's look here.
I saw 1,800 last time I checked.
So here we go. 2,100. We got 800 military, 1,348 civilian, bro. 2,148 total.
Bad. It's not a good ratio.
So rumored with social media is 8,000 civilian, 3,000. This was rumored. Estimated unconfirmed, but this is the confirmed right here.
The confirmed is definitely lower, and it's going to continue to grow as these days go on. And this comes from like the desperation of Pete Hegseth and Donald Trump trying to make it seem like something's happening. Like, look, we're leveling their infrastructure. Look, we're like, hey, bro, missiles, hello, missiles. That's what's destroying the region. Drones, missiles. Not civilian infrastructure, not a couple IRGC members that are currently irrelevant to the situation on the ground. No, not key military personnel, by the way. No. Missiles, underground cities. Those need to be taken out if we are to slow down Iran's military offensive. It's that simple. It's not more complicated than that. Anybody who tries to say it's more nuanced or it's more complicated is doing the bidding of the GOP. It's that simple. That's what we need to target. That's what we need to focus on. If we don't, they'll have the liberty in bombing Israel every single day. By the way, they're still building carriers. They're still building missile launch platforms underground currently, and they're probably doing it at a rapid rate in which we probably never even dealt with before or seen before in response to a potential ground invasion or some sort of bunker busting bomb or a nuclear weapon. So that's the real focus.
Yeah, ground invasion would be the fucking suicide.
Pentagon sources tell CBS News that among thousands more U.S. troops that are on their way to the Middle East is a contingent of around 2,500 Marines. Dorica spent plenty of time on those amphibious ships, and a ground assault is just one of the options that they're trained.
I don't think Trump is that stupid, bro. Everyone told him that this war, number one, they told him you're not gonna hold air power. Also, this guy, oh my God, he comes from the University of Chicago. Pape interview. I was watching this interview. This guy's pretty smart. He went on. Oh shit, he streamed with Mario. Okay, he did an interview also. So this guy Robert Pape. Okay, really smart guy. He specializes in this stuff, and he basically, calls it like it is. Like, bro, these guys have no chance. So he's a professor of political science at University of Chicago, founder and director of the Chicago Project on Security and Threats. He's a political scientist, and he specializes on air power, political violence, and social media propaganda and terrorism. So bro, it's kind of funny because everything that me and you have said, he echoes in all of his interviews, bro.
Never heard of him.
And mind you, exactly.
I never even heard of him.
Mind you, I knew who this guy. I found out about this guy last week, but I had never seen his interviews until yesterday. I watched his first interview yesterday. On who did he go on? He went on this guy's shit. I watched this one. The Iran war expert. I simulated the Iran war for 20 years. Here's what happens next, bro. Everything that we said is happening. So how is it that me and my brother have been able to accurately pretty much assess and analyze this conflict for you guys, and we've been naming shit from before it happened? Like, this war is a quagmire in every single way. There's a reason, and here's the other thing too, you guys gotta understand. With Hexeth and Department of War, they know that they're losing, like, optically, so what they're doing is just bombing targets all over Iran. They're not even like, when they get their target packages, they're not even vetting them, bro. Oh, a school of little girls? Let's do it. Oh, you think that there's IRGC people there? Sure, let's do it, right? Oh, you have this intel over here? Yeah, let's blow it up. Oh, yeah, well, we don't know if soldiers use it. Well, have they ever used it? Yeah, they used it before. Okay, blow it up.
Yeah.
You know? So, like, the target packages, like, they're not even really vetting them, bro. They're just blowing up anything they can to create as much destruction so that like Trump can say, I have W's. Look at me, I'm destroying the infrastructure, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Because they know that the only way that they're going to be able to, like, keep the American public somewhat happy is they need to show destruction and death and say, oh, look, we're lethal. Look at what we're doing. We're moving with aggressiveness. Like, yeah, let's go, America, fuck yeah. But what they're not telling you is, strategically, we are losing. We are losing this war. I can confidently tell you this. Me and my brother can debate anybody 2-on-2. Those two enforcer brothers are retarded. I'd be happy to debate them. Anybody on this topic. We are losing this war. When we look at the war from a totality of the circumstances, okay, I will concede that we are winning militarily. I will concede that all day. But strategically speaking, we are losing.
Yeah. And the biggest thing, the vested interest for all sides, or at least the Western side, is Israel and their guarantee of security, which has not been the case in the last 2 weeks. Iran has been successful in not only penetrating the Iron Dome, but exploiting their lack of missile defense systems, which they are currently running low on per U.S. intelligence and U.S. officials from the White House. And so symbolically, we're really losing. And on an international scale, it's embarrassing that we thought this was going to be a few days. And then just last week, we got a report that intelligence assets came together in Florida and reported, hey, this might last actually 100 days. And the IRGC promised, by the way, they're very charged up to do this. They want to drag this out until November so Trump can really suffer the biggest consequence in losing a lot of his influence in the House and the Senate because of this war, which is highly unfavorable by the left. And they've been weaponizing it through their media outlets. Gavin Newsom, other voices have expressed that this war is unnecessary, that we're perpetuating violence for no reason. You know, the same bleeding heart liberal talking points, but they're covering ground because they happen to be right. You know, a broken clock is still right twice a day. And the Democrats have been on the money here.
Yeah, and a lot of it is because of political reasons. They hate Trump, so they're going to, like, you know, go hard in the paint.
They weaponize it against him. Exactly.
They're weaponizing it against him.
Regardless of their motivations, they happen to be right, you know?
Yeah. And it pisses me off to admit that, like, someone like Hassan Piker is more on the money about this war than Osman Gold. Like, that's painful for me to admit, bro.
Yeah.
But the GOP historically has been always very bad on foreign policy. The GOP historically has been owned by them boys. We know that. And they're bad on foreign policy because they can't identify the real problem and criticize the real problem. That's why they're so bad on foreign policy, because it's like this unspeakable topic that they can't stay with. Guys, understand that, like, in the right wing, criticizing or talking about this topic is completely frowned upon. It's not allowed. Okay? It's new that we've been able to talk about this. It's new.
Yeah.
So
and again, this whole idea of another thing that's consistent with the GOP recently, just really under the Trump admins, his last two in 2016 and then 24, is that they just let the Israelis kind of do whatever they want. They run free, and they only do it under Trump. Again, you see with Obama, he at least condemned the Israeli settlements. He at least introduced the JCPOA to try to introduce potential peace into the region eventually. With Bush, we just watched the video from Propaganda & Co. He was upset about the whole Jundallah situation. When it was brought to his desk, he wasn't happy about it. He actually was not pleasantly surprised, whereas Trump was, Golden Pager attack was amazing. So, you know, there is that, like, allowance for more military or intelligence involvement in other countries that lead to destabilization of the region that you see more concurrent in Trump with anybody else, or in opposition or in comparison to any other U.S. president previously, which is why what he's doing right now is remarkably worse, because it's been this perpetuation. It's been a cycle. He's let it culminate. We didn't get here by accident. We got here because systematically over the years, Trump enabled certain military actions. He greenlit certain organizations so this could be possible. This would not have been feasible in 2020. This would not have been feasible even in 22. But in 2026, it was the perfect time. And Israel rushed him into it. Marco Rubio dropped the ploy. He kind of said, hey, you know, we had to get involved because they were going to strike anyways. So, you know, it's been a lot of his incompetence that has led us here. You know, he hasn't nipped enough things in the bud in terms of, Mossad involvement in their operations. He's just let it run wild. He's let it run free. And they cover a lot of ground when he's in office. They cover so much, a lot more than they did with Biden. I know the Gaza situation started under Biden, but, we probably would have seen some sort of suppression to that. Don't forget, Donald Trump took 8 months to stop the conflict in Gaza, something that he campaigned on hard. By the way, he won the vote of some swing states from some Muslims because he said he would end these Middle Eastern wars. Michigan. He banked on that very hard. Yeah, Michigan won him big. He had that Yemeni sheikh come up and promote him and say, we love Trump, he's going to end the war in Gaza. He looked like an idiot because it took Trump 8 or 9 months to actually end that conflict, and thousands upon thousands of Palestinians were still killed, by the way, in a more brutal manner than which we saw in the Biden administration, because that's when they were getting shot going to aid sites. So not only did Trump become the president under that genocide or under that attack on the Palestinians and continue to let it happen despite his promises of ending the war on day one. It's all gonna be over. It's gonna be peace in the Middle East.
He did get a ceasefire before he even was sworn in, which is impressive. He got it till March,
and
but
so
after that, he gave him the 2,000-pound bombs. He gave him the 2,000. But here's the thing: he gave him the 2,000-pound bombs that Biden wouldn't. He gave him like a $12 billion rush fucking package. So
right.
Yeah, as soon as March hit, them niggas started bombing again.
Yeah, and he didn't end the war in Ukraine, which he also promised he would. So, he foiled under every circumstance. He kind of didn't deliver on the whole war thing, and that's what really set him apart. That's what made so many Muslims were really running hard for Trump because they thought that he was going to favor the region. And I think Trump deep down, I don't think he's even centered as a person. I don't think he has some sort of core foundation. He just cares about power. But I think deep down we saw the sentiment from Trump in 2016 or 2015. If you remember, Trump was saying our government actually has lobbyists who pull strings. He was saying these things. He said in an interview, I don't remember if it was CNN or who, but I vividly remember in an interview with some journalists, he said, with Israel and Palestine, you got two sides, and I feel like one side doesn't want to come to the table. I feel like one side's making it harder for the other. And he eventually noted that was the Israelis. So Trump was actually good on foreign policy, but slowly but surely that all just changed. And that's what makes it so much worse. He just flipped. And what was the flip for? It shows that he was never even centered. He just kind of cares about power. And that hurts me because I did like Trump, but he's shown his true colors at this point.
Yeah, no, it just goes to show the power of the Israel lobby, bro.
Yeah, that lobby is very powerful.
And just so you guys know, every single fucking president, bro, has been told to bomb Iran, every single president, bro, and they all resisted. Clinton resisted.
They do something to scramble. They come up with some excuse. They offer some sort of resistance. Trump has just done the bidding, complete submission. At least in the last 6 months, he's complete submission.
Yeah, and honestly, I think he struck a deal with the Adelsons and all the tech bros and everything else like that, because people came out the woodwork to vote for him that otherwise would have never voted for him because of his pro-Israel stance.
Okay, we have another report: air base hit in Bahrain. So there's a picture here from Suleiman.
Yeah, they're not gonna stop, bro. They're not gonna stop until.
So we have that in Bahrain. Just great. So
shit. So all right, cool, man. Where can the people find you, bro? And we'll be back on. You'll be back on tomorrow at 9.
Yeah, I'll be back on around 9. I'll finish the gym then, and then we'll run it.
So I'll be on at 7 or 8 p.m. then, and then I'll be on for an hour or two before you come on, and then you come on at 9.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. Sorry, I realized you just wanted to get off and I was yapping. My bad. But
no, you good. No, you good.
Guys, check me out on YouTube.
I gave him another hour. I was timing it. I gave him another hour. There you go.
Yeah, there you go. You guys got a little more. I just finished. I have 2 chats. Desert Joe, thank you for the 5 gifted. Thank you so much. Javier Lopez says, W Riyadh coming from the OSS 300. You got my support. Number 1 Myron supporter. Let's go. Hey, God bless you, bro. Thank you so much for their support on both sides. We love that. Hour, another $10. Thanks so much. Set Media React. Glad Myron got you into streaming, bro. Hey, thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. God bless you. Shout out to Myron. Hey, we got Frank in the house. Bring Frank on camera, man.
Yeah.
Take a look. Yo, he's gotten big, man. I haven't seen him in over a year. It's been over a year since I've seen this guy.
He's almost like 50 pounds now. So
yeah, that's a big dog, right? At that point.
Yeah, I would consider him a medium-sized dog.
Yeah.
He's like
super
40
smart,
to 50 pounds.
And he's a good-looking border collie. Not all of them are good-looking.
Some of them niggas are ugly and hairy.
Very handsome border collie. He's purebred. Okay, and then Hour with another 10. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate that consistent love and the 5 gifted earlier. God bless. Guys, find me on YouTube, Riyadh's Report. Come subscribe, show love to the channel. Uploading videos maybe 2 times or 3 times a week, as well as streaming twice a week, even more when the news calls for it. And we're uploading shorts every day. Check me out on Instagram, Riyadh Pill. That's my clips page. I'm farming the Sneako content right now, so you'll probably see a couple of Sneako clips on there. That's it right there. Here's my brother's, guys. That's it right there on screen. So come show some love. Yeah, that's really it. Anything you got to say?
No, I'll be back on tomorrow around 7 or 8 p.m. guys. I'll be on with my brother. I'll do something true crime for you guys for like the first hour or two. And then when my brother comes on, we'll cover updates with the conflict and everything else like that. So
perfect.
We'll cover all that. Anyway, love you guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the stream. It's always a good time when my brother comes on. I'll see you guys tomorrow, somewhere between 7 and 8 p.m. start time. My brother will come on around 9, and we'll cover true crime in the beginning, and then we'll cover geopolitics.
Sounds good, man.
So,
all right, bro. Peace
all
out.
right. Later, guys.
All right, guys. That is the end of the stream. Thank you so much for tuning in. Those 20-minute videos are important. Facts. That's what I be saying, man. That's what I be saying, man. So yeah. I'm just making sure I don't have any more chats, then I'm gonna end. But yeah, guys, find me on here. I'll pull it up on screen really quick. Okay. I got my guy Halimi. Shout out to him. Really good with the clips. He is stupid. He is running my clips page, Riyadh Pill. Check it out on Instagram. Give me to 1,000 followers. Growing quickly. Some of these clips are doing really well, man. Good views. The last 4 ones, the last 4 ones were Sneako clips. Okay, Sneako, I gotta farm it a little bit. Sneako, your face garners like views. Like, actually, no, this video got like 93K views. We do good by ourselves, but I had to farm it a little bit. We're done with the Sneako clips. We're done. Okay, I had to farm that a little bit. But yeah, that actually might get my page destroyed. But whatever. So, shout out to you guys for the love. Check me out on there. And X, you can find me Riyadh's Report as well. We'll be here tomorrow at around 9. And we'll cover the news if there's any new developments. Maybe a little bit of a shorter stream because I don't think there will be too much. So I'll be on really quickly. By quickly, I mean like the duration of tonight's stream. Maybe like, 2 hours or so. But it's 4 a.m. I'm going to go eat before the fast starts. Got a long day of fasting ahead of me tomorrow. So got to eat my carbs, protein, and fats. And yeah, all caught up on chats. God bless you guys. Oh, Desert Joe, thank you so much for the $5. W Gains, bro, collab streams. Hey, bro, God bless you. WU, appreciate the love. We will see you tomorrow at 9. And no more outro or intro edits because I think that's why I got shot out of the sky yesterday. So we'll see you guys soon. God bless. Find me on those other socials. And we're going to keep running it up. Peace out, guys.